and welcome to the March 12th, 2026 meeting of the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners. If you would stand with us, please. Our Commission Chaplain, Romel McMurray, will lead us in our prayer and our pledge. Come in.
Let us pray. Lord, thank you that each day we have from you is a gift. That's another chance for a fresh start. Help us to forgive and let go of the past. Let us see your strength in our weakness today, and then again tomorrow and every day after that. Father God, we thank you for your grace and your mercy, even when we don't always deserve it, but you still give it. When we think about where we could be, we know that had it not been for your hand over our lives, we wouldn't be here. Lord, I pray for peace and unity amongst your people. When we look outside and lay in our beds at night, when we don't hear the sirens or bombs going off, that's a reason to say thank you. When we look at the pantries that we have, the food we have, the clothes on our back, and the finances that we have, that's a reason to say thank you. And when we see the freedoms that we have every day, that's just another reason to tell you thank you. Lord, be with us tonight as we conduct the business of Rutherford County. May we do what's pleasing in your sight. Lord, we thank you for our military. Be with them and their families, today and always. We thank you for our first responders, for we know that they put their lives on the line every single day that they walk out the door. Lord, we ask that you continue to allow them to always walk back through the door at the end of each shift. Lord, we just want to stand here and say thank you for all your many blessings. We ask that you continue to watch over Rutherford County, the great state of Tennessee, and the United States of America. It's in your name that we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
3 white stars on a field of blue, God keep it strong and ever true. It is with pride and love that we salute the flag of Tennessee.
Thank you. You may be seated. This time I'll ask the Rutherford County Clerk, Lisa Crowell, to call the roll. Lisa, please.
Commissioner Oliver,
Present.
Commissioner Piercy,
Here.
Commissioner Hall,
Here.
Commissioner P,
Here.
Commissioner Davison,
Here.
Commissioner Beverly,
Here.
Commissioner Cush,
Present.
Commissioner Reed,
Here.
Commissioner James,
Here.
Commissioner Wilson,
Here.
Commissioner Anthony Johnson,
Present.
Commissioner Boyd,
Here.
Commissioner Paul Johnson, Commissioner Irvin, Commissioner Harris, Commissioner Dodd,
Here.
Chairman Phillips,
Present.
Commissioner McAdoo,
Here.
Commissioner McMurray,
Here.
Commissioner Gooch,
Here.
Commissioner Sereno.
Here.
We have a quorum, 21 present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item D, reading and approval of our minutes from February. I'll call on the Chairman Pro Tem Trey Gooch.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have reviewed the minutes and found them to be in order with no exceptions, and my motion is to dispense with the reading and approve them as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the February 12th meeting minutes. Is there an amendment that needs to be made, Mr. Chairman?
Let's see. I think that, yes, to add that the minutes to include the digest from also?
March 26, 2025.
On March 26, 2025. Okay.
Everyone understand? All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposition? Motion to approve carries. Thank you. Item E, resolution of financial wellness. And this is a pretty special presentation tonight, and I'll recognize our Health and Ed Chairman, Phil Dodd, and Vice Chair, Phil Wilson. Gentlemen.
Thank you, Ms. Neighbors. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Chairman. Health and Ed Committee
approved a resolution last month to support the state delegation on promoting financial wellness in Tennessee. The state's concluded that financial wellness is a critical component of well-being in our community, and a few of the points in their preamble pointed out that persistent financial stress creates mental health challenges, stress-related illnesses, housing insecurity, food insecurity, and barriers to accessing health care. They have created a financial scorecard. They've asked us to help promote it, to participate in it, and that resulted in a resolution that we passed. Vice Chair Wilson has been the spearhead on this on behalf of the county. So I'd like Phil to wrap up the presentation, and I will read the resolution momentarily. Vice Chair Wilson.
Chairman. How is everyone tonight? It's really a special night for the county. We've got special guests, and with what's going on in Nashville, I'm sure you guys are behind catching up. Your time here is both valued and appreciated on behalf of the commission. Thank you for appearing here. Rutherford County, financial wellness, what we're providing for our people. We learned from the scorecard. Interestingly enough, this information is available on SharePoint. All of the information, not only for the whole state of Tennessee's financial wellness scorecard, but Rutherford County's. I believe I found out we are the 11th out of 95 counties. We score 11th overall in financial wellness. But there's also some information that you'll read on how we score compared to the average Tennessean with issues like housing, job, salaries, and other markers where we understand what's the overall financial wellness of all of the folks in our county. So I'm going to start tonight with some remarks. I've asked State Senator Shane Reeves, District 14, I believe, State Representative Charlie Baum, District 37, both to be here. They actually passed legislation to help fund and support this wonderful program. So I'd like them to share a little bit of their vision on where this came from. Ashley Neighbors is the Assistant Treasurer over the Division of Financial Empowerment. That's a great title, by the way. So on behalf of the State Treasury Department, glad to have her make a few remarks. And with that said, if we'd start with you, Senator Reeves.
Thank you. Commissioners, I always enjoy being with you, enjoy being in your house here very much. I'm honored to be a state senator and work with this fine gentleman here, Representative Baum in Nashville. We are full on right now in Nashville right now. It's hair on fire. We're in the process of trying to get our budgets closed and pushing as hard as we can right now in Nashville, but honored to be with you here tonight. Before I came over here, I had dinner with my daughter right over here around the square, and she said, "Daddy, I saw you on TV this week." And she said, "You look really old." And I said, "Well, that's because I'm spending so much time trying to pay off your credit cards," which is a good lead-in for financial literacy. It is. Our kids nowadays in school are learning a lot of great things. They really are. They learn about the mitochondria and the importance it has in cells. They learn about the 50 capitals in our states. They learn about how to diagram a sentence. They learn about the Civil War and World War II. They learn a lot of good things, but if you hand a young person a credit card and talk to them about the power of compounding interest, they look at you like you got two heads. They just don't have an appreciation, young people nowadays, of the importance of being financially literate. And as I thought about coming over here tonight, a few reasons I think that's so important. One is that financially literate young people, or people in general, you just don't make a lot of mistakes. When you're a young person, you take on 2 or 3 high interest credit cards, and you take on a school loan, and you take on an auto loan. You look up in your 30s, and all you're doing is just paying the interest on these cards. So financially literate people don't make mistakes. The second thing is financially literate people realize the tools, the real benefits of the tools of being financially literate. The power of a budget, the power of being able to save, the power of being able to invest, the power to be able to read and buy a home or to open a business. I have to tell my kids real often that if you're just 25 years old and you invest $100 a week to the age of 65 at about 8% interest, you'll have about $1.6 million, $100 a week. The power of compounding interest in that tool. And I think the third reason that financial literacy is so important is financially literate people make financially literate families, which make financially literate communities, which is what we all want. want people that make good jobs, to give back to the economy, that pay their taxes and support the good work that this commission is doing. So I'm honored to be here to say a few words. Representative Baum and I carried a great piece of legislation, which we worked with the Treasurer's Office on last year, that we think is so very important. But thank you for the work you do for our county and for letting me say a few words. Thanks.
Thank you. I want to start out by thanking you for having us tonight and for your support for these financial literacy initiatives. We think it's important. I know we all want to find ways that government can help people. There are lots of ways government can help people, but one of the ways is by helping people save more and be more responsible financially. And so it's good to be back here. I think all the commissioners know I served 8 years in this building on the Rutherford County Commission. That was a great time in my life, and so it is nice to be back, and it's nice to be back talking about something like financial literacy. It's important because a lot of Tennesseans don't save enough. We quickly think that Tennesseans maybe don't save enough for retirement, but they also don't save enough for medical emergencies. Or for education, maybe education for their children. And when Tennesseans don't save enough and they get in a bind, then the government can help these people, but then that means that their savings affects all of us because we want to help people when they haven't saved enough. And this is also important to me because I teach economics at MTSU. This is my 27th year there, and I recently have had students come up to me and that I have had in class 25 years ago, back when they were 18-year-olds, who have said, back then as an 18-year-old, I wasn't really that interested in financial literacy, but now, 25 years later, I'm thinking more about retirement. Wish I'd paid more attention to what we talked about with financial literacy. So I think what y'all are doing is important. I would normally stop here because this is kind of the financial literacy initiative and it's important in its own right. But something in addition to that has happened within the last month that I think is kind of interesting. So this is sort of a story, has something to do with a piece of legislation that we've sponsored called the Tennessee Retirement Savings Act. I want to tell you a little bit about it. In the private sector, only about 50% of all private sector employees have a retirement plan through their employer. That's real different than in the public sector where our government workers have a wonderful retirement plan. It's through a plan called TCRS, Tennessee Consolidated Retirement System. That program is not only fully funded, the state has done a great job making sure that we have no future unfunded liability, but the returns have been strong, and folks in the public sector who are receiving benefits through TCRS have a good retirement waiting for them in the future. And so we proposed a bill that would essentially have the Tennessee Department of the Treasury set up for private sector workers, kind of a parallel program that would operate like a defined contribution retirement plan for private sector workers, just like TCRS, a separate fund, but it would sort of operate the same way so that private sector employees that don't have a retirement plan through their employer could make contributions to a retirement plan that would be managed by the treasurer and invested so that they would have the same opportunities as workers in the public sector. I'll give you a few details about the legislation real quickly. All employers in the private sector would have to do is provide a way for these workers to transfer a portion of their earnings to their retirement plan managed at the state level. Private sector employers actually would not be required to contribute. They wouldn't be permitted to contribute because that would be a ERISA violation. And it would only cover private sector employees whose employer doesn't already provide some kind of retirement plan like a 401k savings plan. The bill would set up contributions at a 5% level, but it would be optional. That could be adjusted. Employees wouldn't have to contribute anything at all. That would just sort of be the default level. And we think that this might actually even help employers in the private sector because they could claim that they now offer retirement benefits, even though the benefits would actually be administered and managed through the state. The treasurer could partner with private sector investors in order to help manage these plans. And I think that the cost benefit on this would be, the benefit cost would be tremendous, because private sector employees would then have the option to build towards their retirement, save towards their retirement, and the administrative cost to the state would be relatively low. Since we're already doing this, we just set it up for some additional workers. Well, I think this is a conservative piece of legislation because it promotes saving, and saving is a conservative thing. But unfortunately, it sort of represents the government increasing in size, and so a lot of our colleagues in Nashville really didn't like the legislation because they don't want government to become larger and move into this area. And so when I presented the bill about a month ago, it really didn't have the support to pass, and I knew it. I presented it and then just kind of quietly took it off notice. Well, if you watch the State of the Union address about a week later, President Trump mentioned this very thing, sort of a government retirement plan. He was mentioning it at the state level. I would like to think that President Trump saw my presentation on TV, but I don't have any evidence that that actually occurred. But he made these comments about a week later, and it wasn't much after that that a lot of people got interested in the legislation. And so now I do have a lot of colleagues who are interested in working on this bill. The treasurer is working on this bill, and so the bill has sort of been resurrected and is alive again. So not only are we appreciative for your efforts to promote financial literacy with your resolution, but we're trying to do something at the state level where government can be used to help people save, plan for their future, help people help themselves. And so I really appreciate you all having us here so that we can be here tonight and talk about these important issues.
Good evening. I'm Ashley Neighbors, Assistant Treasurer for Financial Empowerment with the Tennessee Department of Treasury. So happy to be here tonight on behalf of Treasurer Lillard to show our support for this resolution. So this resolution is very simple in that it's recognizing financial wellness as a public health priority. You've heard some discussion about the scorecard events that we hosted in Rutherford County back in November. We had an opportunity to bring together community leaders from both the government space, from private sector businesses, our financial institutions, our school systems, to talk about the importance of financial wellness, to talk about metrics related to Tennessee's overall financial wellness for its citizens, and how those metrics relate to the people of Rutherford County. Our goal for those scorecard summits was to activate communities and think about this as a public health priority. And so the resolution that we brought forward, and we were so thankful to have members of this commission see the benefit in, is really just a first step in thinking about how this community can rally around financial wellness and financial literacy. And, you know, I think Representative Baum mentioned retirement and how important that is. In the Department of Treasury, we administer the state's retirement programs. We administer the state's college savings programs. We are the investment arm of state government. And we know how important it is from an early age to instill strong financial aptitude in our children and to provide the resources for families in our communities to be successful and to be financially well off. And so we're grateful to this commission for taking up this resolution. You are one of few communities so far. We hope to reach many more across Tennessee, but just grateful to you for seeing this as a priority for your own community. I think if you look at some of the information presented on the Rutherford County's individual scorecard, you will see some really great metrics in terms of how Rutherford County compares to the state as a whole. So it's not that this community isn't doing financially well, it's just that there's always opportunity for improvement, and we in the Tennessee Treasury Department and the administrators of the Tennessee Financial Literacy Commission want to be a partner to you in that, and just continue to move the needle forward to benefit Tennesseans. So thank you so much for having us.
So I will now read the resolution that Health and Ed passed, and urge you to support this if you can. And will the folks be available for questions if there's any discussion on the motion? Resolution of Rutherford County Commission recognizing financial wellness as a public health priority. Whereas financial wellness is closely linked to physical and mental health, housing security, and overall quality of life. Whereas the Tennessee Financial Wellness Scorecard identifies key indicators of financial stress that impact the well-being of individuals and families across the state. And whereas addressing financial wellness through a public health lens can help reduce disparities, improve outcomes, and strengthen community resilience. And whereas counties play a vital role in fostering partnerships and aligning resources to address complex interconnected challenges. Now therefore be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners that we recognize financial wellness as a public health priority and support collaborative efforts to improve financial outcomes for all residents. Be it further resolved that the Commission encourages that cross-sector partnerships among public health agencies, financial institutions, nonprofit employers, and community organizations to address financial wellness. Number two, community-based initiatives that reduce financial stress and improve access to financial education, tools, and services. Three, integration of financial wellness strategies into broader public health, housing, and social service programs. Four, support the efforts to integrate age-appropriate financial literacy into K-12 education as part of a long-term strategy to build financial capability from an early age. And five, last, ongoing evaluation of local financial wellness indicators and sharing of best practices to guide future action. Resolved this 12th day of March 2026, Mr. Chairman, I so move.
I have a motion and a second. Questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item F, a resolution of sympathy for Rhonda Allen. Call on Commissioner Anthony Johnson, and I'd like to invite with him Commissioner Pettis Reed and former Commissioner and Planning Commissioner Veronica Buchanan. If Veronica's here, I haven't seen her. But Veronica, come on up here.
Okay, all right.
We're humbled tonight to present a resolution of sympathy for Rhonda Allen. Rhonda was an awesome, godly lady and a friend to so many people. Rhonda lived life loving and helping others. She was a great leader and involved in many organizations and causes for Rutherford County. I had the pleasure of knowing and working with Rhonda's dad and also Veronica's dad. They were great co-workers and they loved to hunt. I didn't hunt, but they were hunting all the time and were close friends. Rhonda and Veronica became close friends and commission colleagues working hard together. Another way to honor Rhonda was to ask her dear friend and sister in Christ to read this resolution of sympathy. Pettis Reed and Rhonda became very close with a great mutual respect for each other while working diligently serving Rutherford County. So now I'd like for Ms. Veronica to read the resolution.
Resolution of Sympathy honoring Rhonda Allen. Whereas it is with great sadness that the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners learned of the death of Rhonda Allen, a former county commissioner and a lifelong resident of Rutherford County, leaving behind a legacy of public service, faith, and deep community impact. And whereas Rhonda was appointed to the Rutherford County Regional Planning Commission and served for 17 years. While serving on the Regional Planning Commission, she became chair of the Budget and Search Committees and collaborated on many key projects. In 2010, Rhonda was elected to the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners representing District 11 and served for 12 years until 2022. During her tenure as county commissioner, she served on budget, risk management, ethics, public works, and health and education committees. And whereas Rhonda was a beloved daughter, sister, wife, mother, grandmother, aunt, and friend, but mostly and importantly, she was a faithful Christian, a leader of integrity, and a tireless public servant with whose charisma, grace, and touch-minded I mess this word up every time, pragmatism strengthened the community she treasured for generations to come. And whereas we know that her passing has caused great sadness to her family, friends, and community that she impacted all over the years. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners at its regular session on this 12th day, March 2026, does hereby honor the memory of Miss Rhonda Allen and extend sincere sympathy to her family. And be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution of sympathy be forwarded to the family of Rhonda Allen by the clerk of this legislative body.
I so move, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you, Veronica. I left out one of the main parts that meant so much to me. So Rhonda called me when she was going to run for county mayor, and she asked me if I would be willing to run again to take her seat on the county commission. So I was really humbled by that. So, well, she was still here, but I don't make that decision. But she was a great lady, and everyone misses her. Thank you.
Item G on our agenda is a resolution for Kyler Garcia. It's a memorial, and I'll call on Commissioner Jonathan Beverly for this resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to invite the family of Kyler Gatica to come up here, please. Before we get started, I want to share a book that Miss Stephanie gave me before we came in. It's Kind Like Kyler, and it's a story she wrote about her son and his best friend, Jackson. Yes. And I just wanted to share that, and she gave me a copy, and I'm really excited. It probably won't be tonight, but tomorrow night to read that to my 3-year-old and share his story about him with him. So thank you very much. But a resolution requesting the General Assembly adopt legislation authorizing the placement of a memorial sign along a public roadway. Whereas on October 12, 2024, Kyler Gatica tragically lost his life in a motor vehicle accident on Interstate 840 in Rutherford County, Tennessee, near mile marker 55. And whereas Kyler Gatica's family has requested that a memorial sign be placed near the location of the accident along Interstate 840 near mile marker 55 within the public right-of-way to commemorate his life. Whereas Interstate 840 is a state highway under jurisdiction of the State Department of Transportation, legislative authorization by the General Assembly is required and designation of a memorial sign upon such a roadway. The Rutherford County Board of Commissioners finds that honoring Kyle Gatica through a memorial designation serves as a legitimate commemorative purpose and reflects the sentiments of this community. The Commission supports legislative approval of the sign subject to compliance by the now, therefore, be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners that the Tennessee General Assembly is respectfully requested to enact legislation authorizing the placement of the memorial sign on Interstate 840 in Rutherford County near mile marker 55 in honor of Kyler Gatica. Be it further resolved that the placement, design, wording, and installation shall be subject to all requirements. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be transmitted by the county clerk to members of the legislative body of Rutherford County's delegation representing Rutherford County, Tennessee, in the Tennessee General Assembly with a request of appropriate legislation. Resolved this day, 12th day of March, 2026. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
Second. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Would you like to say a few words?
I'd like to.
I'm going to introduce Ms. Stephanie. She'd like to share a few words.
I had to write this down as I'm not very good at the top of my head. Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Stephanie Gatica, and I'm here tonight with my family and Kyler's best friend to ask for your support in placing a memorial sign on Highway 840 near mile marker 55 in honor of our son, Kyler. Kyler was just 16 years old, a smart, bright, loving, kind, and full of life young man, who brought so much joy to everyone who knew him. He had a way of making people feel seen and valued. He could make anyone smile, even on a bad day. A student once told me, "Your son is the reason I still believe there is good in the world." No parent should ever have to say goodbye to their child, especially their only child. No family should have to live with a loss like this. This sign will not be just a marker on the highway. It's a way to honor Kyler's life, keep his memory alive, and to remind those who pass by to make safe, responsible choices while driving. Thank you for your support.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. So sorry for your loss.
Thank you, Commissioner Beverly, for bringing that forward tonight. Item H, we have a getting to know tonight, and it's for our risk management department, and I'll call on our Chairman Pro Tem, Trey Gooch, to make the introduction.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and colleagues. Unless you serve on our Budget Committee or our Insurance Committee, you may not know much about Ed Elam or our risk management program in the county, and so this is an opportunity to do an introduction and to for our viewing audience to have a little bit better understanding. So Ed Elam III is a lifelong resident of Rutherford County. Ancestral living in Rutherford County on both sides of his family date back to the 1700s. He is married to Sandra Elam for 43 years, and together they have 3 children and 3 grandchildren. His father served as one of 42 magistrates, which are known as commissioners today, and later served as county clerk for 24 years. His mother taught at Riverdale High School for over 30 years. Ed lived on a dairy and a beef farm for over 50 years. He started a straw broker business at the age of 16 with the cooperation of local farmers, and later established a bull leasing business lasting for 23 years. He graduated high school at Riverdale and from college at MTSU. He was elected to the County Commission in 1994 with current County Commissioners Jeff Phillips, Anthony McAdoo, and Anthony Johnson. He served on the Budget and Finance Committee, and Mr. Smith and Commissioner P, you'll be interested to know that the budget back then was $150 million. So he probably didn't have much to do. He was elected chairman of the Budget Committee at the age of 32, served on the Rutherford County Planning Commission and Rutherford County Agricultural Advisory Committee. He's currently serving as governor's appointee for the Rutherford County on the Regional Transportation Authority, and Ed began serving as Insurance and Risk Management Director on March 16th, 2019. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you. Commissioner Gooch, I appreciate the invitation for tonight to introduce myself. For those who may not be familiar with me, I have a little bit of a video that I was going to show tonight. If OIT will pull it up. My name is Ed Elam, and I am the Director of Insurance and Risk Management for the Rutherford County government. Insurance, injuries, there's a lot of complexity to it. My department handles a lot of the insurance for Rutherford County, the benefits, which would be medical, dental, vision, long-term disability, short-term disability, life, critical illness, accident, and retirees benefits. Also, we do property and casualty insurance and on-the-job injuries. Our office works very hard to help answer questions for employees and retirees, and we may not always have the answers, but we'll look for them, we'll find them for you. The most important thing for my department is to be a good manager of the taxpayers' dollars when we're looking at benefits. The taxpayers pay a portion of it, and you're trying to be good stewards of it. But in the same sense, you want to make sure that your benefits are where we are competitive with other counties and other municipalities, state government, federal government. So we have a chance to hire good people because our county employees are some of the best people in the state. We think the employees are the greatest assets of the county, and we also appreciate the retirees and the influence that they've had on the county. So that's kind of an overview of the office of what, very, very brief overview of the office of what we do. And if I could just kind of dial down just a little bit. Jack, do me a favor. Where is he? Don't start the timer. Hold off on the timer for me. But I have 9 people in my office that work extremely hard, and I'd like to introduce them to you just briefly. Susan Thompson's my assistant director. She's the supervisor of the department staff. She does the new hire onboarding and training, manages bodily injury, liability claims, legal claims, property liability, and OJI claims. She's the secretary of the Benefits and Insurance Committee. She assists with implementation of developmental policies and procedures, and she oversees property and casualty RFPs. She's also obtained her certification for Certified Safety Health Official. Molly Howell is my assistant director of benefits. Just a little tidbit about Molly. Her grandfather, Alan Watts, served on the school board. And when I hired her, I had no idea at the time, but didn't find out later. So it's a small world sometimes. She and I have had some good conversations about her grandfather. But Molly's the assistant director of benefits. She supervises staff handling of employee benefits, facilitates benefits RFPs, manages department compliance of federal, state guidelines, and oversees plan implementation. Molly updates our website, annual employment preparations, troubleshoots issues with vendors, reviews contracts and agreements, works closely with the broker of benefits on various aspects of the plan design and incentives. Jane Corbin is our safety coordinator. She's the OJI plan administration, safety training, TOSHA compliance, and annual OSHA reporting. Annual safety programs review, she handles those, incident and safety investigations, and has obtained also her certified safety and health official designation. And that's very unusual to have one, and we're fortunate to have 2 in the county. It takes a lot of hours to get that and obtain it, and a lot of tests that have to be taken, but Jane and Susan both have that. Corinne Gunn, several of you may be familiar with her. She's a retiree benefits administrator. She handles the Medicare reporting and plan documents, and she's also an active benefits administrator. James Dean, he's an insurance generalist. He does the billing, reconciliation, compliance reporting, wellness report, new hire enrollment. If you can imagine, if you take all of those things that were mentioned there, each person will sign up for something. All of that comes in as in a bundle. Then you have to send it back out to finance. We work closely with finance on the deductions. And then we have to also send it to the insurance companies and, pay the bills. So it's with that many people, it's a lot of work, and he does a great job. Laura Gallagher, she's an insurance specialist. She's an OJI claims administrator, OSHA log and reports, property and liability claims. She handles legal claims, and then also she's project and ticket management in the office. Disability reports. Amy Himes, she's a benefits specialist. She does new hires, life events, annual enrollment, wellness programs, daily claims, ACA benefits, inquiries, and website updates. Susan McQuarrie is our property and casualty specialist. She maintains schedules of insurance, property claims, annual RFP for property and casualty coverage, applications and review of policies for committees. And then finally, Lacey Gentry, she's administrative support 2 person. She answers the phones, greets employees, handles general inquiries, does scheduling, assign tickets that we have come in the office, and handles new hires and resignations. She does add and delete reports and salary address changes. Property and liability, CCMSI is our broker of record and our third-party administrator, led by Janet Cook. And Susan McQuarrie works with Janet on our RFPs. On property and casualty, our RFP, property general, auto, liability, excess liability, government entity crime coverage, cyber, dental, professional, and law enforcement liability. That goes out with an RFP every year. Law changed just recently that now
It has to go out every year. Used to, the brokers would be able to, you would put the broker out to bid, and then the broker would bring you. Now it has to go out to bid, so annually. Give you some quick stats real quick about property and casualty. $2.9 billion in property value for Rutherford County. $2.9 billion. That's buildings, contents, mobile equipment. Buildings adds up to about 2.6. Contents is about 244 million, and mobile equipment's 12. In that, we have 465 buildings, 975 county-owned vehicles, and 9 canines. I'd also like to take a moment, give a shout out to Commissioner McAdoo and the Management Committee and Adam Dodd. They allow us to be able to do the walkthroughs when they go into buildings. We really appreciate them letting us tag along. We learn a lot, and we learn a lot about what the county is doing because as we put our bids out in December, we've got to be prepared for what are you doing starting July 1 all the way till June 30th. So the premiums, we have to kind of plan to see that you have coverage for the buildings, the new ones that come on, and also the ones that were partially done that came on in the middle of the year. One of the things we've done recently to give you an idea, the diversity of the building, we put together a meeting with the Tennessee Highway Patrol. Where's Commissioner Johnson? He'd be happy to hear this. We put together a meeting with the Tennessee Highway Patrol, and the Highway Department allowed us to be able to use their facility. Highway Department, Solid Waste, Human Resource, Rutherford County Schools Maintenance, they all attended. The Highway Patrol gave a brief presentation based on the questions that were submitted prior to the meeting, and then they let us follow up with some additional questions at the end. The cyber liability, it's not something that I like to talk about too much publicly. It's a bad animal, and I think we all are aware of that. But several years ago, with the help of Cody York, we put together a technology committee, and we meet about every 2 months. It's led by Chris Brinkley and Susan Thompson in my office. It has been invaluable, the information that has been shared among the counties. You get in your, I think people were in their silos, and now, you know, with everybody hearing different vendors, or this vendor worked, this vendor didn't work. So it is something that we've really put together, and I think it's helped the county as a whole in a big way. And then again, we interact with the legal department. We interact with the Monica Ridley at the Rutherford County Schools and Jeff Reed with their claims. And then we're in constant contact with Nick and his team of people at Hudson Reed Christensen regarding the Rutherford County government legal issues. They also provide vital advice regarding RFPs. They're reviewed by his office. A lot of the contracts are reviewed by his office, and then also communication pieces that are going out. And then they also give us an interpretation of new legislation that's out there. And then moving on to the number of hours of work, the OJI. Here's another statistic for you. In 2025, we handle OJI, on-the-job injuries. 2025, there was 13,923,580 total hours worked. 13,923,580 total hours worked. And I'm really proud of our employees, because when you think of that many hours worked compared to the OJI claims that we have, I think they do really, really well. But Susan and Jane will conduct the incident investigations. They discussed corrective actions and with the department heads and with the elected officials and principals to prevent additional accidents, and then also to get with them if an employee has restrictions, to see what restrictions that they have to get the employee back to work as soon as possible. And I will tell you, those employees love to come back to work. Most people think they don't, but we do everything we can to get them back, and everybody, the employees happy, and also the administrators happy. Benefits, we do new hires, terminations, Family Medical Leave Act, active duty, dependent verification, qualification events. RFPs are presently out at the moment for medical, pharmacy, stop loss, dental, vision, employee assistance program, and health savings account. Last year, the RFP was out for life insurance, short and long-term disability, accident and critical illness, medical and dependent care, flexibility, spending account were out for bids and awarded and implemented effective 1/1/26. OIT is tremendous help for us. They put together, you saw this video here, they also put together our new hire video and also our open enrollment video. And then retirees, we have over 500 retirees plus spouses. And in 2023, we changed our plan, and it was estimated a savings with retirees and the county combined of about $1.2 million annually. That's it on my report. I have just a couple more things really quick to wrap up. Just recently, I came across this quote. Lou Holtz passed away just recently, and I saw this quote, and it caught my eye because this is when we're looking for people to hire in the office, and we're looking for those that qualify because we come in contact and we're pretty diverse, and it really matters to me, as you heard my bio, it really matters to me how we treat employees, how we treat the general public, how we treat the taxpayers. And I came across this quote, and I'd like to take just a second and read it to you. It says, 1, do the right thing. 2, do everything to the best of your ability with the time allotted. And 3, show people you care. And in our office, you have to be able to meet all of those things. If not, you don't last very long because, but we do. We have people who care, and that's what I'm hiring. That's what I look for, and we do. We care about everybody. And finally, I just want to wrap up. I've sat in your seats before. I have a great appreciation for what you do. Thank you for serving. And I also want to say thank you for supporting the Insurance and Risk Management Department.
Thank you, Ed. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
It's a little past 6:30. It's time for us to skip down to item M, which is our public hearings, and I'll call on our Planning Director, Doug DeMasi, to lead us through this section. Mr. DeMasi.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everybody. We have 2 rezoning requests for your consideration tonight. The first is by Matt Taylor. This is for Russell Ranch LLC. This is located at 1070B Franklin Road. Property is currently zoned light industrial. They are asking for a planned unit development for a mini storage development on about 3.8 acres of land. Excuse me just a second. This is my first night using this new device here, so I'm still getting a little used to it. According to the application, the applicant, as I stated a moment ago, does intend to rezone this property for a self-storage or mini warehouse development. Self-storage developments are allowed by right in the LI zone. However, the applicant would like to have additional lot coverage above and beyond what would typically be allowed in light industrial. Typically, in light industrial, you're allowed 50% lot coverage. That would be buildings and paved area. They would like to have 69%, about 70%, which is more akin to the commercial general zoning designation. We actually preferred the planned development approach as opposed to zoning it commercially, just because we have more control over the usage of the property. You'll find that the pattern book is included on your iPads. There is a concept plan you'll find in there on page 8. You'll see that it has about 62,000 square feet of building space. This does include a kiosk-like area for self-service on a computer or tablet. The facility will be gated and screened with a combination of landscaping and fencing. They will use the backs of the buildings as part of their screen, which is allowed by our regulations, and their hours of operation will be from 6 a.m. till 10 p.m., and no access to the property will be allowed outside of those hours. Page 14 of the pattern book does show proposed access to the subject property. Franklin Road is a state road, so TDOT approval will be required for any new or improved access points. TDOT may also require additional traffic improvements such as turn lanes. We have not required a traffic study at this point. However, we do have that ability should we feel that one is necessary, or the state could require one prior to site plan review. Regardless, an engineered site plan would be required prior to the development of this site. They'd have to demonstrate compliance with all access, parking, our landscaping and screening requirements, and also our performance standards. The Planning Commission had questions about the use of this property should it sell in the future. We did confirm during the meeting that it would remain the same, a self-storage development. Any changes to the use would have to be brought back through the PUD amendment process, which would be a public hearing before the Planning Commission and then one before your body as well. There were also some questions about parking, maneuvering areas, their surfaces, and also drainage of the property. The applicant's representative stated that they have had a TDOT meeting. TDOT was fine with the proposed access. They said they would work with staff on any drainage concerns. Following the public hearing, nobody spoke. The Planning Commission did vote to recommend approval by a unanimous vote. So with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for staff? Mr. DeMasi, questions? Seeing none at this time, I'll declare the public hearing open for item REZ 26-002, Russell Ranch. Anyone wishing to speak for or against this rezoning request, please come forward. Seeing none, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Commissioner James. Instead of Commissioner James, we'll recognize our planning chairman, Commissioner Pettis Reed.
Mr. Chairman, you'll notice on this that from the Planning Commission there was a 10-0 all for, and I'll move that we approve this.
Have a motion and a second to approve item REZ 26-002 for Russell Ranch. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion to approve carries. Thank you. Mr. DeMasi.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our second and final item tonight is a rezoning request by Chris Rudd. This is for Beacon Acquisitions, LLC. This is located at 8470 and 8478 Almaville Road. Existing zoning is residential medium density. They are asking for a planned unit development for distribution and warehouse uses on approximately 37.5 acres. These properties were the subject of a previous zoning case that was considered at the beginning of last year. The request originally was for Employment and Activity Center, EAC zoning, contemplated similar uses as you are seeing before you in this application. The Planning Commission at that time recommended approval at their February 10th, 2025 meeting. However, during the Board of Commissioners public hearing on March of last year, several people spoke against the application, primarily citing traffic concerns, and the application was denied. Staff met with the applicant since that time to discuss option moving forward. They settled on making a planned development application, which is what you have before you tonight. The applicant proposes to rezone this property again to PUD. According to the pattern book, the rezoning is going to primarily support the development of warehouse and distribution facilities designed to attract and accommodate both local and national businesses. However, there are no specific tenants identified at this time. You will find a pattern book for this development on your iPads as well. This plan does show 3 buildings that range for anywhere from about 80,000 square feet to about 162,000. The sizes may vary, but will not exceed a combined total of 375,000 square feet, which is actually less than our previous application that was before you last year, which was about 431,000 square feet of total floor area. Page 9, you'll see that there are a list of allowable uses with a mixture of commercial and industrial. Pages 10 and 11 will show the proposed architectural characteristics of the building, and page 13 would show a screening and buffering plan. As I stated a little earlier, one of the primary concerns, at least for this application, was traffic improvements. There has been a traffic study done. That study has been completed and reviewed by staff and our traffic consultant. It has culminated in a participation agreement. You'll remember we had one of these for Laws Bolden application on Ocala Road just a few months ago. It identified a number of improvements. Some improvements that are being made are actually going to be at the total cost to the developer. That's going to be right and left turn lanes into the development off of Almaville Road. Those are along the frontage. Those are going to be completely funded by the applicant. There are a couple other improvements, namely traffic signal at the eastbound 840 ramp and also a northbound right lane off of the westbound 840 ramp onto Almaville Road. The developer will be contributing a portion of the funds to that, similar to what the Laws Bolden application did. I believe the amount, at least for the off-site improvements, was around $55,000. That participation agreement is included on your iPads as well, and I'll discuss that in a little bit more detail here in just a moment. The concept plan originally showed 2 access points. However, after discussions with TDOT, one of them was removed. You'll see that the pattern book just has the one access. It was moved more to the south. TDOT didn't want an access lining up with Shores Road like it originally was. They felt it was too close to the interchange. Of course, as I stated with the last application, engineered site plan would be required to be submitted to the Planning Commission, which would have to demonstrate all compliance with our parking and access requirements along with TDOT, landscaping, and our performance standards. Prior to the public hearing, during the meeting a couple months ago, commissioners had questions on the participation agreement. We did state that any approval should be made subject to the executed agreement and that the totals will be finalized by that point, which they are. Again, I will point you to the agreement that is on your iPads. The applicant's representative came up to answer questions. He said the primary changes to the current plan was access, as I discussed. He also stated that right and left turn lanes would be constructed along with the cost for any off-site improvements. There was some questions about visibility of the buildings from Interstate 840. The applicant's representative stated that they would preserve as many trees as they can near the property line. He also stated that the buildings would be attractive. He discussed the lighting plan for the project along with noise concerns. There were a number of concerns and folks that spoke during the public hearing, primarily the concerns related to noise and light pollution, safety concerns along Almaville Road, the division of those costs needed for those road improvements, the changing character of the area to more industrially zoned property and keeping the area more residential in nature. There were also stormwater concerns and flooding that were discussed. Following the public hearing, the Planning Commission made a motion to approve the development, to recommend approval of the development, subject to the participation agreement being approved by the Board of Commissioners. Again, I will point out that agreement is on your iPad. It's a fairly lengthy document, but it outlines the improvements, outlines the cost. A copy of the pattern book is also attached. There were some further questions about the road improvements proposed with the project and some further discussion on that agreement. Following that discussion at the Planning Commission, it was recommended for approval by a unanimous vote. And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Mr. DeMasi? Seeing none, I'll declare the public hearing open for item REZ 25-020, Chris Rudd for Beacon Acquisitions. Anyone wishing to speak for or against this rezoning request, please come forward. When you're coming forward, I'll remind you have 3 minutes.
Hello. Good evening. My name is Kelly Hill, and I live in the South Haven neighborhood. I'm here tonight regarding the proposed rezoning along Almaville Road. I'm here because I believe that infrastructure must come before development, especially in rural and semi-rural areas like ours. Many of our neighbors feel the same way, and a large group of our neighborhood attended a previous county commission meetings to raise these same concerns. I'm the mom of a young child, and every morning when I take my son to daycare, I'm reminded of how much traffic there already is on Almaville Road. Traffic comes from both directions, including over the interstate overpass. Because of that overpass creates a hill, it limits visibility for the drivers trying to pull onto the road. And even when it seems like there might be an opening, the sight lines make it difficult to judge safely. Just last week, there was a wreck on one of the off-ramps at the very top of that overpass, which blocked access to the interstate from our neighborhood. Situations like that show how strained the current infrastructure already is. And as a parent I worry about what this road will look like when my son is old enough to drive. I worry about the young drivers from our community navigating what is already a high-traffic, high-crash area. The rezoning of this 37-acre property to allow a large industrial warehouse that looks like an Amazon warehouse will change the character of the community. I understand that the developer has already made efforts to address some of these concerns raised by our neighbors, and I do appreciate that. However, after reviewing the documents provided to the commission, the project still appears to be a large industrial warehouse facility with multiple loading bays designed for semi-trucks to load and unload. Now I'm hearing that we don't even know what tenants are going to be in this building. So we have no guarantee how many of these semi-trucks are going to be coming on and off these off-ramps every single day. And our roads in this area, as you've already heard, are not currently designed to support regular semi-truck traffic, and adding to that type of industrial traffic without first addressing infrastructure raises real safety and capacity concerns. I am not sure, but I'm hoping that this participation agreement that you are referring to would include the infrastructure being built first before going and allowing for the rezoning and allowance of the building when we're not even sure what types of tenants are going to be in this building. I want to emphasize that our community is not opposed to development. In fact, there are several properties near the intersection of 840 and Almaville Road that are already zoned for commercial use. At the same time, the greatest need in Rutherford County continues to be affordable housing. If we're going to continue to build, we should prioritize housing that meets the needs of the working families rather than adding more industrial warehouse space. We simply want, yes.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak for or against this rezoning request? Seeing none, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Commissioner Reed.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make the motion for approval condition upon the execution of the participation agreement.
We have a motion and a second to approve item REZ 25-020. Chris Rudd. All those in favor, please say aye.
Question.
I'm sorry.
You didn't ask, so I'm just putting it out there.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Oliver.
Yes, thank you. Considering the concern, and I haven't had an opportunity to read this whole thing, maybe Mr. DeMarcy can help. Are they gonna address the infrastructure or the road prior to, as has been requested by the citizens in the area?
Well, a portion of the improvements that are going to be made made with the development of the project, namely the right and left turn lane into the development. Now, the other improvements, the off-site ramps and everything, that's really what the participation agreement is for. They'll they'll provide a portion of that. There's other developments that will provide a portion of that. The county at some point may have to. Those probably won't be, but the improvements as far as the actual development, right turn lanes into the development itself would be taken care of as part of the construction of the development, yes.
Okay, but it sounds like the concern is the on-off ramps.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Right.
And you're saying they're not gonna?
They'll prepare and provide a portion of that, but not
we
the
don't
entire
know when?
funding. We don't have any time frame for that right now, no, ma'am. That's kind of up in the air. Like I said, there's other development in the area that are also providing. At some point, the county, again, would have to possibly provide some funding for that, but that would be discussed in this body and during capital improvements programming and whatnot.
Talking about like down the road,
Yes,
basically.
ma'am. It'd be down the road. Yes.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposition?
Nay.
Motion to approve carries. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I would like the record to reflect that Oliver said nay. And I know there have been times in the past where the minutes don't reflect that, but I do want that reflected. Thank you.
Was there another no? Let the record show, Jack, if you would, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. DeMasi, you through?
That's all I have.
Very good. We'll go back to our regular agenda, and next on the item is public comments. We have, it appears, 11 people to sign up, which will run us over our 30-minute allotment, but without objection, since it's only one person, I'll recognize all 11 of them and let them come forward. And once again, we're in a tight time frame within that 30 minutes, so when you're recognized, you need to come forward and limit your comments to 3 minutes. I'm not sure I can read this correctly, but Tatana Savalas is first up. And then next, which will be on deck, will be Rob Mitchell. Ms. Savalas' item is 287G. I'm sorry. Probably it's not, I just couldn't read it there. Say for me. Tatiana Selvas, thank you.
Good evening, my name is Tatiana Silvas, as you've heard now. I live at 715 North Spring Street. You know, we've heard it said that when you come to this country, we want to make sure that you're doing it the right way, and that way we can welcome you here. What does that look like in reality? I really want to spend some time tonight speaking for one of my favorite students that I've ever taught, and I want to tell you her story. She arrived in the United States from Venezuela at age 7 with her family, determined to build a better future. For over a decade, her parents have engaged an immigration attorney to do things the right way. Yet, because this process is so complicated, their hard work has had very little progress. Now, she's about to graduate, she's 17, and she's beginning the process of applying to colleges, and she's such a fantastic athlete. She's actually received an athletic scholarship at a local community college. If you have children who have applied to college, I'm sure you remember what it was like, all that mountain of paperwork. And as a first-generation college student myself, I remember having to navigate that system all alone. But my 17-year-old student is facing another obstacle, in addition to this, because of her undocumented status. Only this week, she came to my classroom in tears because she learned that she risked being denied in-state tuition because of the technicalities in her documentation, even though she's lived here for over a decade. Despite submitting every document, from her social security card and driver's license to multiple immigration forms, and I counted them, there was like 10, even though she's done all of this, the system still finds her ineligible. Out-of-state tuition is nearly triple the cost, even at a community college, and her athletic scholarship does not bridge that enormous gap. But that tuition battle is just one barrier that she faces. Sheriff Fitzhugh, if you're here, I don't know if you're still here, your signature on that 287G contract means that she can't live freely as a young adult. While her classmates are worrying just about college applications, weekend plans, she's fearful that a minor traffic stop could lead to her detention and deportation. The 287G contract doesn't just threaten her education, it robs her of the basic freedom to navigate her daily life without fear. I urge you, again, to cancel the current 287G contract. And furthermore, although I know they're not listening and they probably won't do this, I call on future sheriffs in this room to publicly commit that they will not sign on for the 287G contract. This decisive action is essential to protect students like my student and ensure that no other student's future is jeopardized by flawed policies. Thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you. Next up is Rob Mitchell. His topic is assessments, and on deck is Pamela Jones.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Y'all rolling your eyes like, not again. I have a request. Can we let the other speakers speak and then have Mr. Mitchell at the end to allow him more than 3 minutes? I think it's warranted. And should that be in the form of a motion?
It's appropriate.
Okay, thank you. So the other speakers can come and he can be last, or do I need to make a motion?
You need to make a motion.
Okay, I move that during this public hearing or public comment time, that Mr. Mitchell be allowed to speak at the end and not be limited by the 3 minutes.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. All opposed? Motion fails.
Okay, well then I have a comment, if I may, because the mayor and the comptroller were allowed to put on what I call a dog and pony show. Mr. Mitchell was never given an opportunity to respond to that. And I think it's only appropriate that as an elected official, he be allowed the opportunity to speak. We've had other elected officials that we've suspended the rules and allowed to speak. And I think it's warranted for Mr. Mitchell as well.
Mr. Mitchell, 3 minutes. I'm sorry, turn on your mic. Commissioner Irving.
May we have a recorded vote, please?
A proper request. It appears that there was a motion made to move Mr. Mitchell to the rear of the list of public comments and give him more time to make comments. So for this, we'll be on the board. So if you would, commissioners, please cast your vote.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the vote.
12 yes, 8 no, 1 abstain.
Motion passes. I'll need some guidance as to how much time should be allowed. We have a recommendation of 5 minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I just asked him how much time he needs. He said about 4 minutes, so I would suggest 5 minutes.
5 minutes sufficient with everyone? 5 minutes it is. So we'll move Mr. Mitchell to the end of the public comment period. So once again, next up is Pamela Jones. Topic is 287G, and on deck is Jacob Jones.
Good evening. I'm Pamela Jones. I live in District 20. I'm just here again, once again, to remind our commissioners of the responsibility they have to their constituents, whether they like it or not, and I know for a fact they don't like it. Every month I come in here, watch the majority of these commissioners crawl into their seats, pretend to greet their constituents they pretend to care about, and actively ignore every issue brought up to them, if not outright throw temper tantrums over them being brought up at all. And like a fly in your ear, I promise to be one of the many voices who will not simply let it slide this time, as most of you are clearly accustomed to. The first time I spoke here was last October, and there I challenged you all to prove me wrong, to prove your professed faiths and what it calls you to do are not simply convenient costumes to wear, and that you do not do the bidding of a violent regime bent on division and hate that has now brought us into yet another foreign war by petitioning Sheriff Fitzhugh to end the 287G agreement, which was already based around a lie that he got up here and had the nerve to tell you and everyone else. And did you rise to the challenge? Of course not. You hemmed and hawed, repeatedly obfuscated what was even being asked of you, and played on your phones. Once again, I'd like everyone here to witness what is happening and remember what is happening. When actually called to do the governance they signed up and campaigned to do, they will sit on their hands and argue with you. When the moment calls for it, they will not rise to the occasion. They will not fight for you. And I exclude Commissioner Oliver from that category, as she has tried to fight for her community against this threat, but she is only one person in a sea of good old boys who seem more than satisfied with the oppression they see being enacted on communities across this country. Commissioners, this moment of terror and lawless governance will end. And then what will you have to say for yourselves? That you didn't know, even though we repeatedly told you multiple times? Or will it be the Nuremberg defense that you were just following orders? I'm letting you all know right now, neither of one of those are going to cut it, so I'd start workshopping some new excuses now if I were you. And if any of you have a nice little speech you'd like to respond with after all of us are done speaking again, unless it involves actually getting up and doing something, I'd save your breath. More empty air is not what's required right now. So like I urged last month, once again to everyone here, please go to govote.tennessee.gov and make sure you're registered to vote for this upcoming election. There's a primary coming up in May, and you have until next month to register. Make your voice heard, and let these lazy seat warmers know they are not welcome to govern you. If they don't want the responsibility, let them know that you don't want them. Thank you, and see you next time.
Next up is Jacob Jones. His topic is 287G, and on deck is Jason Bennett.
My name's Jacob Jones. I live in District 20. I said last month that the state was probably going to bail you guys out of your responsibility, but they're dragging their feet on that one. So despite everything, you have the chance to do the right thing and leave the 287G agreement. A few weeks ago, there was a woman in Rutherford County involved in a car accident. It was not made clear to me exactly what her role in it was, but she was not able to identify herself at the scene. This woman has a 1-year-old infant, and she was detained by the Rutherford County Sheriff's Department and held for ICE detention. That means that Rutherford County Sheriffs has been deputized by the federal government to carry out civil immigration enforcement, which is not their job. This makes everyone less safe. If you're undocumented, if you're someone that holds a visa like the reporter in Nashville that we saw recently, if you're somebody that just has an accent, you can't trust that you can safely call 911 in an emergency without risk of being permanently thrown out of the country. How can the Sheriff's Department do its job? How can EMS, fire, or any other first responder react to emergencies when large sections of the public will hesitate to call? Immigration enforcement is the sole responsibility of the federal government. There's a reason it hasn't been done with local law enforcement in the past. You ignore legal jurisdiction, you ignore the law of habeas corpus and allowing people to have a trial before a jury, and yet you hamstring the capacity of your own Sheriff's Department. We've been asking for this for months now, and it's just cruel. You just separate a woman from her 1-year-old infant, for not having a document for the same crime as jaywalking, and you're going to hold her in custody for ICE. For what? That's all I've got. Thanks.
Thank you. Next up is Jason Bennett, and his topic is ethics reform. On deck is Violet Walther.
Thank y'all. Thank you, commissioners. First, thank you for your commitment to this county and to the citizens you serve. I know the hours you put in, the scrutiny you face, and the weight of the decisions you carry. Your work matters, and it does not go unnoticed. I've intended to speak for the last few months, but I've been a little bit busy. But I'm here tonight because the issues we're facing as a county can't wait. Over the past year, and really throughout Mayor Carr's entire tenure, we've seen a pattern of ethical challenges that should concern every resident of Rutherford County. Let's start at the beginning. Within months of taking office, Mayor Carr was publicly censured by this body. It's the first in history for a mayor. That wasn't symbolic. It was a formal statement that his conduct was harming county operations. And since that moment, the pattern has only continued: ethics complaints, structural breakdowns, and a veto of a unanimous reform designed to fix the very loophole that protected him. I filed one of those complaints myself, and during that ethics committee hearing, Mayor Carr made a statement that should still echo in this room. He reminded the commission and the public that he is not bound by the same ethical standards as county employees. And he was correct. Under current Tennessee law, the commission has no authority to enforce ethical standards on the county mayor or any other constitutionally elected official. That's not your failure. That's a failure of state law, but it's a failure the mayor has taken full advantage of. Now contrast that with what he said during the recent mayoral debate. When asked about ethics and transparency, he said, and I quote, "Any elected official should open themselves up to public scrutiny especially the difficult questions, because that shows you're a person of integrity. I agree with that statement, but it does not match the record. You cannot claim to champion transparency while vetoing ethics reform. How can you do that? You cannot preach accountability while reminding the commission it has no power to hold you accountable. And tonight, if he'd have been so gracious as to show up, he might have been censured again for the second time for violating state law. That's not normal. It's not sustainable, and it is not the standard the people of Rutherford County deserve. This is not about personality. This is about structure, and the structure is broken. And while we absolutely need legislative change to fix it, that change will not come before the May 5th primary, even if the General Assembly began drafting a bill tomorrow. Nothing will be enacted in time to affect the current term of the county mayor. That means the next mayor, whoever the voters choose, will inherit the same system, the same loopholes, and the same lack of enforceable standards. So tonight I want to encourage you as a commission to stand firm. Do not be intimidated. Do not be gaslit into believing that your desire to strengthen ethical standards is overreach. It's stewardship, it's responsibility, and it's leadership. You represent the taxpayers who fund every office in this county, including, thank you.
Next up is Violet Walther, and her topic is 287G, and on deck is Susan Allen.
Sheriff Fitzhugh continues to ignore our demand of withdrawing from the 287G agreement. I'm Violet Walther. I live in District 2. Rutherford County detainees are being transferred into ICE custody and disappearing before our very eyes. Anthony Johnson told the DNJ back in December that we, quote, just repeat the same thing over and over, end quote, and that, quote, that they just close ears that were already open in the beginning. People get irritated and tired of hearing the same old thing. I'm now going to share the living quality of those detained in Alligator Alcatraz. This is from amnesty.org. Quote, inside, people are crammed into overcrowded cages around bunk beds with little room to move. Food is spoiled and maggot infested. Mosquitoes swarm constantly. Showers are scarce, and extreme heat and humidity make the center unbearable. DHS does not care whether these people live or die. ICE involvement in Rutherford County is a stain on our community. Fitzhugh and sheriff candidates, please withdraw from 287G, and the board, please restrict funds for the sheriff's department. Thank you.
Next up is Susan Allen. Topic is the Legal Services Agreement, and on deck is Sean Holt.
Good evening. My name is Susan Allen. I live in Commissioner Irvin's District 14. I was going to comment on 2 items tonight, but I know you still have a lengthy agenda ahead, so I'll restrict my comments to the resolution to renew the Legal Services Agreement. The Rutherford Neighborhood Alliance has advocated since 2009 for Rutherford County to establish an in-house legal department. The reason is straightforward. County government has ongoing complex legal needs that affect nearly every decision this body makes. Under the agreement before you, the county attorney remains a private attorney providing non-exclusive legal services. The law firm is also non-exclusive and represents other clients, and some of those clients may have interests in zoning or land use matters that come before this body. Even when handled ethically, that arrangement can create tension and concerns about potential conflicts of interest. The county's legal counsel should have one client and one priority, Rutherford County. An in-house legal department would provide attorneys whose sole responsibility is advising county government, protecting the county's interests, and helping this commission navigate legal and procedural issues before they become problems. Consistent legal guidance inside county government can matter. Attorneys who work exclusively for the county can help ensure that the required procedures are followed carefully in all areas of government. That protects the mayor, the commission, department heads, employees, and the public's confidence in, in the process. A legal director would also have to submit a budget each year, just as all other departments do. For those reasons, I would urge the commissioners to consider two things tonight. First, have outside independent legal services review the proposed agreement before committing to another long-term contract, especially to understand what is typically spent for both general services and litigation annually. Second, if commissioners feel it is necessary to avoid a lapse in legal coverage, consider extending the agreement for no more than 6 months. That would give this body and any new commissioners time to seriously explore whether establishing an in-house legal department would better serve Rutherford County in the long run. Clear procedures, strong legal guidance, an annual budget, and public confidence in the process are all essential to good government. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Sean Holt. The topic is the PBA nominations, and on deck is Anna Karina DeWitt.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, commissioners, thanks for giving me this time to comment. I'm Sean Holt. I live in District 7. Some say it's the best district. And I'm currently a member of the PBA. The short of my concerns is that there are two members of the PBA, Brad Fowler and Gary Wisniewski, whose terms expired and submitted applications to continue to serve. Those applications seem to have been rejected with no explanation. So my first question is, and I'm hoping that the commission can help me understand this at some point, how did we get that decision made and why? My second is, and it's more on precedent, and I'm hoping you guys can help me with this. How common is it in county government for a sitting chair in good standing to not be reaffirmed to a position? It seems a little out of place for me. I'd like to add that this is not intended as an objection for any of the nominees that I think you've got on the agenda tonight. I'm sure they're well qualified. This is just a show of support that I think the two members who reapplied deserve to continue to serve. That's all I got. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Next is Anna Karina DeWitt. Topic is 287G. On deck is Kelly Hill.
Good evening. My name is Anna Karina Lorenzana DeWitt. I live in District 16. And I want to talk to you guys tonight about a real public health crisis. Now, I don't know what's going on with all this financial wellness and stuff. I'll tell you what my experience was. I went to Central Magnet. It's probably maybe like 5-10 minutes down the street. And I was taught financial wellness. I was taught personal finance. So I think I know my way around like credit cards and loans pretty well. But what's a real public health crisis, I'll tell you that as someone who's at MTSU, probably also 5-10 minutes away, studying public health, is everything that's happening in our community to our constituents. Specifically, our Latino Hispanic communities that most of you just seem to not care about, and I'm not sure why, because we make up a considerable part of your labor force. This contract is sending people to overcrowded detention facilities where we are now seeing disease outbreaks of things like tuberculosis. Does any American in here understand the damage that tuberculosis causes? Can any of you really say for sure that you've ever been scared of getting a tuberculosis diagnosis? This is tearing families apart. What my priority is healthcare accessibility. If someone's sick, I want them to be able to see a doctor. Well, guess what's being denied to these people at these overcrowded detention facilities? Healthcare, any kind of care. We've heard stories of people having heart attacks, getting tuberculosis, needing diabetes medication. Can I please have a medication today? Can I please talk to my lawyer? Can I please see my family? Where am I? Where am I going? I don't know where I am. I'm scared. This is what's going through the minds of the people that are being held for detention and are being sent back to countries where they're afraid to live. If someone's afraid to call the cops, if someone's afraid to call 911, someone's afraid to leave, to be in the car, to be pulled over for something that they didn't do, and then be carried off to one of these detention facilities where they don't know if they're going to see their families again, do you really think they're going to be able to go see a doctor? Do you really think that they're going to feel safe talking to someone? Do you really think they're going to feel safe going to MMC, going to our local clinics? Do you? And I'm tired of people telling me, you're lying, or these experiences don't reflect what's going on. I know what my experiences are because I am part of this community that has been living in fear for a decade now. So here's my request. Please go talk to your Latino and Hispanic constituents. Please. I'm here speaking for the people that can't come speak because they're terrified. They're terrified of being detained. They're terrified of being stopped, and they're terrified of being followed to their homes. So please, go talk to them. Just once. Unless you've already scared them off. You need to rebuild trust. That's the real public health crisis. If you care about public health, that's what you should care about. Thank you.
Next up is Kelly Hill. Her topic is rezoning. Don't see Miss. Next up is Alex Sager. Topic is 287G.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Alex Sager. I live in District 16, and I've lived in Murfreesboro going on 10 years this year. I'm here tonight to ask Sheriff Fitzhugh to end the 287G agreement and demand a resolution or public statement from this commission regarding ICE operations in Rutherford County, because they are here. ICE is today, this morning, this past week, instilling fear in Smyrna, Laverne, Murfreesboro, and actively terrorizing immigrant communities, and they will assuredly continue their practice of racially profiling brown and black people. They are kidnapping working class people from their morning commutes, and this is how this works. They're leaving cars abandoned with personal belongings, unlocked, and children left wondering why their parents didn't meet them after school. Choosing to remain ambiguous, whether as a governing body or as individuals who are elected officials, only adds to the chaos and distrust. Other cities and LEAs have set a precedent. You can release a public statement drawing a line between the fascist terror being committed by the federal government and this county government. There are multiple open lawsuits nationwide against ICE regarding the conditions of detention facilities, as well as the unconstitutional tactics regarding warrantless arrest. Sheriff, your willingness to feed people into that violent system is shameful. We deserve clarity. We deserve to know where our elected officials stand, because if you don't let us know, we're left to fill in the blanks. And right now, the data I have to look at is what the state government is choosing to do. That is, partner directly with DHS and Stephen Miller willfully through bills like HB 1711, and look to other local influential institutions like churches. For example, World Outreach, who are very overtly pro-ICE and very committed to marketed Christianity and Christian Zionism, which inherently links back to the tactics deployed by ICE agents. A quick shout out to my state senator, Shane Reeves, who was here earlier, who last year voted to protect immigrant kids at the state level. Please see this as an example of what's possible. You can do the right thing. Again, I demand that you release a public statement, end 287G, and protect the people you claim to serve. Thank you.
And last is Rob Mitchell, and he will be allowed additional time for his comments. Mr. Mitchell.
Thank you, Commissioners. Thank you, Commissioner Oliver, Chairman Phillips. Took me by surprise here. Back in October, I came before you and I said that unfortunately I would like to explain to you what was going on, but I really didn't have anything to respond to. I do tonight. We have concluded everything with the state. We are now in compliance, and according to the results and the documents as they sent down, and after a careful analysis of the impact on our tax base, I can confidently tell you we never were in non-compliance. Less than 0.06% of Rutherford County's tax base was impacted as a result of 2 years of onerous oppression by the Division of Property Assessments. Now, there was a very flowery presentation put on by the comptroller. I'll give him credit to attempting to destroy an office, trust in the members of my office, and the trust of the commissioners who I respect and value so very much. There were certain things that were said and alleged. 1 in 4 properties were incorrect. That is factually false, and it is not true. They found, after charging the county $235,000, only 6,000 properties out of 135,000 that needed any type of adjustments. Now, they said we were dragging our feet with those adjustments. I will tell you that is not true. We reviewed every bit of information that the Division of Property Assessments presented. The reason it was taking so long was our office doing its due diligence and correcting their errors. We still have a member of county government who called us for the 2026 tax roll and said, my value is not correct. The change that was sent in is wrong. They have my square footage wrong. I said, I'm sorry, let's look into it. What had they done? They had taken the area above his garage, which was unfinished, and said that it should be finished because by their estimations, it was. That added hundreds of square feet to his property and would have taxed him accordingly. That's wrong. We stopped it. However, what we could not stop was what's called back assessments. That's where the state decides they want to go back 2 years and impose a tax on our people when they've already paid their bills. Now, they can't appeal that to my office, and they cannot appeal that to the County Board of Equalization because it's a past year. The only avenue they have is to appeal directly to the state and pay the state $10 to appeal something that should have never been taxed. Now, 6,000 parcels at $10 each, that's $60,000 more the state of Tennessee is trying to take from our citizens. Now, there's only a couple of things that really get me mad. One of them is calling me a liar. Another one is challenging my family. And the third is doing anything that's going to adversely impact the constituents that I serve, the commissioners whom I honor and am honored to serve with, and doing what's wrong. I will not do that. Now, it has been said that I got angry and I sued the comptroller, and that was dismissed. It's true, I did sue the State Board of Equalization, which is, the comptroller sits on that, so I did sue the comptroller because he's a member of that body. What was not true is that it was dismissed. There were actually 2 sections to that lawsuit. One was to slow it down and request that we have time to review their information because we believed it was flawed, and we've since found it was. The second was that the entire actions of the State Board of Equalization were invalid because they did not fund the office. I'm out of time. I appreciate everyone giving me the opportunity to speak, and You can call me on my cell phone, 615-426-7373. I will answer any call and any question. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. Item J, elections and confirmations. I'll call on our steering vice chair, Pettis Reed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Elections and confirmations, beginning, of course, with election of notaries. Listing of the notaries may be found in your iPads, Commissioners. Mr. Chairman, I move to confirm the election of these individuals as Rutherford County notaries.
We have a motion and a second to confirm the list of notaries. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion to approve carries. Thank you.
Item 2, steering would like to confirm the reappointment of Robert Warren to the PBA. This is a 2-year term, January 2026 to January 2028. This is an appointment by the mayor. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
We have a motion and a second to confirm the reappointment of Robert Warren. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion to approve carries. Thank you.
Item 3, steering wishes to confirm the appointment of Coy Young to the PBA. This is a 2-year term, January 2026 to January 2028. This is appointment by the mayor. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
We have a motion and a second to confirm the appointment of Coy Young to the PBA. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion to approve carries. Thank you.
Item 4, we'd like to also confirm the appointment of William Tynes to the PBA. This is also a 2-year term, January 2026 to January 2028. This is an appointment by the mayor. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
We have a motion and a second to confirm the appointment of William Tynes to the PBA. All those in favor, please
Question.
say aye.
Mr. Chairman.
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
First, I'll let you go.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to suspend the rules and have him come up. He failed to even fill out the second page of the application. There's
Exactly.
nothing, no work history, what his experience is, or anything.
Pettis. There were some conversations on a couple of those appointments, and I was trying my best to figure out which one was which. So would you repeat your comment, if you would, please, Commissioner Hall?
I guess, Mr. Chairman, I'll give you two options. One, if he's here, if he wants to come up and speak to why the second page, or we defer this one and send it back for reconfirmation and make sure this is filled out completely so we as commissioners can look at it.
Which would be your motion? Which one?
I'm going to defer it back to steering and make sure this is, so we can do some investigation. I've got some questions about the next one as well, so I'd rather have it deferred.
We have a motion to defer.
Second.
And a second. Questions? All is in favor of the motion to defer this appointment, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion to defer carries.
Okay. Then we'll move into item 5. Steering would like to confirm the appointment of Howard Hawk to the PBA. This is also a 2-year term, January 2026 to January 2028. This is an appointment by the mayor. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
I have a motion and a second.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Hall.
Also, Rays, I'd like to, on this one for sure, suspend the rules and allow him to come up. I've got a couple of questions about some statements that he had on the second page and some other things I've found out and look into his employment.
So the question would be whether or not the application was completed correctly? Is that correct? Is that what you'd like to ask?
I believe it may be filled out correctly, but I have a question about his employment and maybe his political ties to this appointment.
We have a motion to suspend the rules to allow Mr. Hawk to come forward.
Second.
All those in favor of suspending the rules, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposition?
Mr. Chairman.
Motion to suspend the rules carries.
Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Johnson.
We have rules and regulations. The way I'm understanding the confirmations, this is an appointment by the mayor, and we're to vote it up or down. We're not to do anything else. We vote it up or down. It goes back. If the mayor wants to reappoint that person or not, then that's fine. If that person doesn't want to keep his application in, that's fine. We vote it up or down.
I understand, Commissioner, but the commission does have some responsibility or the authority to ask questions of an applicant. And that's what this is. That authority exists. Just like at the committee has that authority to ask those questions. I'm assuming you're Mr. Hawks?
I am.
Very good.
I'm Howard Hawk. I live in District 6. Yes, I have a Shelbyville address, but that was on the post office, not me.
Mr. Hawks, just real quick, what kind of jobs are you seeing that you're going to oversee of being a member of the PBA?
I didn't understand your question.
What kind of jobs do you propose that you'll be overseeing or managing when you're on PBA?
Honestly, I have no idea. I know the kinds of jobs that I oversee in my day-to-day, which are, quite huge jobs. The transfer station was one of them. I am a civil engineer. I have an extensive work history. I was asked to serve. I'm not sure what the role I will be serving in. I looked at the PBA on the Google, read it, what Rutherford County PBA is. Yeah, that's what I do every day. So yes, here I stand.
Okay, so what was your vision then? How long have you thought about, hey, I want to be a member of PBA? Was it a week ago, 6 months ago, a year ago? How long did you decide that I think in the future I'd like to be on PBA?
I was asked, and I looked at what it was and felt like I could help. I wasn't dreaming about this 6 months ago, if that's your question.
Could I mind asking who asked you to be on PBA?
The mayor.
About when that was?
A couple, 2-3 weeks ago.
Have you or your company that you're representing gave any donations to the mayor or his PAC?
I haven't given any kind of donation to the mayor. Okay. As far as my company goes, I don't have no control over what they do. They sponsored an event.
So you're pretty much aware of that then. How much did they give then to the mayor?
They probably wouldn't even want me to know. I'm not sure.
Would $25,000 surprise you?
Yeah. Make me mad, probably. So, yeah, was it that much?
Yeah, it is. Reason I'm not trying to attack you, Mr. Hawks, but I was called out on this body when I was coming on a few months ago, and I was put in the paper that I was trying to bribe a fellow commissioner to be able to get this seat. So it's just weird to me all of a sudden that I was called out for that by our mayor, and now I see a $25,000 donation done by Moody Construction that you're a part of, and you get asked 2 weeks ago to come up here, be a part of this. You didn't know anything about PBA. You're not sure what you're going to manage or anything else. It just, I thought that would be the answers I would hear, and I appreciate you being honest with us today.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions for Mr. Hawk?
Mr. Hawk.
Yes, sir.
Before you got asked to come to the PBA, did you know anything about the PBA?
I knew it existed. I wasn't really sure what the role of it was.
See, I would counter other commissioners' argument there, saying there's a lot of constituents I've got that don't know a lot of our boards and subcommittees, and I work pretty hard at trying to inform people, and so I don't begrate you for 6 months ago not dreaming about this, not knowing the details of this, but I do see where he's connecting, so I appreciate that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Cush.
Sadly, Mr. Hawk and others seem to be caught up in a political, what's the right word?
tug of war.
In a play, in a political play, right? They shouldn't be part of that. And I hate it for Mr. Hawk and others involved. Chairman Johnson was correct. The mayor makes appointments. We vote them up or down. I also do want to remind you what Mr. Hawk said. He is a civil engineer. He is a utility contractor that moves dirt, installs utilities all day long, which is exactly the kind of person that we need on a PBA building authority. So his qualifications should trump any suspicion or alleged dubious connection. I mean, let's be realistic. Thank you.
Other questions? Commissioner Dodd.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just feel like it would be remiss if I didn't make a comment that I am acquainted with Mr. Hawk. I'm acquainted with Moody Excavation. And I would be remiss to not acknowledge that I feel like Mr. Hawk was disparaged for events beyond his control. And I would just like to speak to the integrity of Mr. Hawk. And I think this is an unfair attack on him for reasons outside of his control. So, Mr. Hawk, I appreciate you making yourself available to the committee, having no idea what jobs you may have in the future. And I apologize that you're being subjected to this type of ridicule.
Thank you, Phil.
Thank you, Phil. You said it better than I did, so thank you.
I'll echo what they said, Mr. Hawks. Again, I was the innocent bystander, if you want to think of the same thing with political games. So I apologize for that, but I just want to make it clear and on the record in the same body that the same thing happened to me.
Right. I understand.
Other questions?
Question.
Let's wrap it up.
What do you mean? I do have a question, and I don't know if this is the appropriate time or not, but I was curious. Was Brad Fowler and Gary Wisniewski's applications sent to steering? Were they considered, since they did do applications?
No.
Is there a reason why?
We don't pick it, the mayor picks it.
So the application can go in, all applications don't have to be reviewed, is what you're saying?
Only what the mayor says.
Settle down. Settle down. You're not recognized. Repeat your question.
I'm asking if the applications for Brad Fowler and Gary Wisniewski considered or sent to steering. And my follow-up question was, are all applications not reviewed by steering before moving on to the commission?
Well, let me call on our steering chairman, Craig Harris, to answer that question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No, we did not get any applications. This is a mayor appointment, so he sends his, I know that Gary and them turned their applications in a while back, but this is a mayor appointment, and it's an up and down from this commission.
Let me kind of follow up on that a little bit. It's my understanding that there were applications submitted to the mayor's office, and those applications were not forwarded on to the steering committee for consideration. Only the ones that the mayor wanted, in essence, wanted to appoint were forwarded to the steering committee. Did I say that right, Nick? Okay. Does that answer your question? And two of those applications were the individuals that you mentioned. Let's move on, okay? You guys, we have a motion and a second to confirm Mr. Hawk. Other questions? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Nay. Motion to confirm carries. Thank you.
Item 6, steering also wishes...
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
can we get a roll call vote on that last applicant? Well, you got a roll call vote earlier. I'm just asking because I heard more than just myself say nay, so I'm just curious.
We have a motion to do a roll. Okay, you guys, there were a lot more yeses than there were nos, but we'll honor the request. Next time, if you want a roll call, say it before I call the motion. So we're going to do a roll call
Mr. Chair.
To confirm Howard Hawks.
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Johnson.
How many times are we going to keep changing the rules? We have rules to go by. We already voted. It's an official vote. It's a proper vote. We move on. It's done.
The request.
This is what we get into when we change rules.
Commissioner
middle of the
Johnson.
screen.
Commissioner Johnson, the request was that the individual that made the request, Commissioner Oliver, thought that there were more no's than that I was giving them recognition for, and she has the right to do that. So we'll do a roll call vote. We'll be on the board, you guys. Whew. So if you would, please cast your vote. This is to confirm Howard Hawks to the PBA.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the vote.
19 yes, 1 no, 1 abstain.
Motion passes. Yes. Please, Commissioner.
Item 6, steering also wishes to confirm the appointment of Justin Edwards to the PBA. This is a 2-year term, January 2026 to January 2028. This is an appointment by the mayor. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
We have a motion and a second to confirm the appointment of Justin Edwards to the PBA. Questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion to approve carries. Thank you.
Item 7, and we also wish to announce 6 Board of Equalization vacancies, terms ending April 2026. These are 2-year terms, April 2026 to April 2028. Mr. Chairman, this concludes the business of elections and confirmations.
Thank you, Chairman Reed. Item K, resolution to approve the consent agenda. Call on our Chairman Pro Tem Trey Gooch.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and colleagues. I have reviewed the consent agenda and find everything to be appropriate. There's no request to take anything off. My motion is to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Commissioners will be on the board for this, so if you would, please cast your vote.
I do have a question.
Commissioner Oliver.
Just curious, and I know there's been a lot of changes as it relates to county committees and boards and things of that nature, and putting the application on electronically online. Is it currently online electronically? Just curious about where we are in that process. And that's the application for the boards, when Ms. Stevenson was talking about putting it online.
It's in the process. It's already there.
So everything is online?
I wasn't sure, but I've just been told
Thank
that
you.
it is.
Thank you.
The application process is. Where were we? Oh. Okay. We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Will be on the board. Please cast your vote.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the vote.
21 yes.
Motion passes. Thank you. Item N, report of our standing committees. First up is Budget, Finance, and Investment Committee. Chairman Robert P.
Good evening. Our first resolution is a resolution approving a capital funds donation agreement between Rutherford County, Tennessee, and the Child Advocacy Center of Rutherford County, Inc. Whereas by resolution adopted June 12, 2025, the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners set aside funds in the amount of $1 million to support the Child Advocacy Center of Rutherford County's efforts to acquire and improve a facility to house and expand its operations. And whereas the Child Advocacy Center of Rutherford County, Inc. has acquired property located at 503 Highland Terrace in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and intends to renovate and expand the facility to enhance services provided to children and families in Rutherford County. And whereas the county and the Child Advocacy Center of Rutherford County, Inc. desire to enter into a capital fund donation agreement governing the terms and conditions of the county's contributions, disbursement, and the use of the previously designated funds, a copy of which is attached hereto as Exhibit A and incorporated herein by reference as if copied herein at length verbatim. Now therefore be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners that the capital funds donation agreement between Rutherford County, Tennessee and the Child Advocacy Center of Rutherford County, Inc. Attached hereto as Exhibit A is hereby approved, and further that the Rutherford County Mayor shall be and hereby is authorized to execute said agreement and any related documents necessary to carry out the intent of this resolution. Resolved this 12th day of March 2026. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
We have a motion and a second. Questions or comments? Will be on the board, Commissioners. Please cast your vote.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
I'm sorry, record a vote.
21 yes.
Motion passes. Chairman P., before you move on, I'd like to recognize former District Attorney Bill Whitzel, who has been an advocate for the Child Advocacy Center for forever. Thank you for your presence tonight in support of the children of Rutherford County and for your service to the county, Mr. Whitzel. Appreciate you, bud. Thank you. Commissioner P.
I want to repeat that Bill is someone I've admired for many years, and especially with the work he's been doing with the Child Advocacy Center. Thank you, Bill. Item B, resolution authorizing the exercise of the first permitting period extension and approving payment of the required earnest money deposit for the purchase of the Bank of America building. Whereas Rutherford County entered into the certain real estate purchase agreement dated August 14, 2025 with MAC 3 Properties LLC for the purchase of approximately 1.249 acres of real property located at 120 East Main Street, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, commonly known as the Bank of America building. And whereas the real estate purchase agreement provides for an initial permitting period and permits the county as a buyer to extend such permitting periods up to 3 additional 30-day periods. And whereas the parties executed a first amendment to the real estate purchase agreement on December 12, 2025, which increased the earnest money required for each of the permitting periods extension to $100,000. And whereas the county desires to exercise the first of the available 30-day extensions of the initial permitting period in order to continue due diligence, permitting, and evaluation of the property. Therefore, be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners that it is hereby authorizing the county to exercise the first 30-day extension of the initial permitting period under the real estate purchase agreement for the property located at 120 East Main Street, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Be it further resolved that payment of the required earnest money be deposited in the amount of $100,000 associated with such extension is hereby approved. Be it further resolved that the Rutherford County Mayor and appropriate county officials are authorized to execute any notices, documents, or instruments necessary to exercise the extension and carry out the intent of this resolution, subject to county attorney approval. Resolved this 12th day of March 2026. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion. Commissioner Piercy.
Did the issue of extra parking get worked out? I know there was a question about it, maybe at budget. Did that issue get resolved for more parking for that building?
I can attempt to field that. So there is current ongoing discussions with the Baptist Church that is across the street. I've just been in touch with one of their trustees this week, and that is moving forward to a resolution. It's not complete yet, but I don't have any reason to think that we won't get there to allow us to get that additional parking.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Other questions? Seeing none, commissioners will be on the board. Please cast your vote.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the vote.
19 yes, 2 no.
Motion passes.
Item C, this is from the Sheriff's Department. Be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners that the Drug Control Fund be amended as follows. A decrease in restricted for public safety of $20,000, increased expenditures for maintenance and repair of service vehicles, $20,000. Resolved this 12th day of March 2026. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Will also be on the board. Commissioners, please cast your vote.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the vote.
20 yes.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Budget item D is also from the Sheriff's Department and has to do with a grant from the federal government that was actually decreased, so we're making some adjustments. Be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners that the general fund be amended as follows. From the Sheriff's Office, decrease revenue for 25 PTS, that's Police Traffic Services, other federal through state funds, $10,456, a decrease of 26 PTS, others federal through state funds of $30,000, decrease expenditures of overtime, $11,396, a decrease in law enforcement equipment, $1,383, a decrease in unassigned for $28,427, increase in expenditures of $750 for travel. Resolved this 12th day of March 2026. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion. Please cast your vote.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the vote.
20 yes.
Motion passes.
Item E, this is an item I actually asked our finance director to put together for us. And basically what it's showing is a report on our total bond refunding savings. And this history goes back to 2010. I've mentioned some numbers in the past, and I'm going to ask Michael to speak on this in a moment. But I think that budget, and last time we were here, we mentioned that we would be looking at a possible, 1.2, maybe a little more, in a bond coming up that we could work with. And he's got some good news to pass along to us as commissioners and also to our constituents. Michael?
As the Chairman P said, in front of you tonight is the total savings that we've had since 2010 on our bond refundings, and so a gross savings of $25.4 million. However, we did mention last month that we were expediting a bond refunding, trying to get out ahead of the CPI report that came out this week. I'm happy to announce we ended up saving $1.4 million, so more than we thought. So that 25.4 number, you can add 1.4 million to that. We sold bonds Tuesday morning. We had a good competitive bid. We also had 10 bidders. So that is a good sign as well. So we saved an additional 1.4 on top of this as of Tuesday. So
I want to mention what he didn't mention is that doesn't happen by accident. It's a choice of when to go in to make those purchases or make those changes. And I want to commend Michael and his good work in doing that and making us all look good. Our next scheduled meeting will be April the 9th, and that concludes my presentation for tonight. Thank you. Or report.
Thank you, Chairman P. Item N2, Public Safety Committee, Chairman Pettis Reed.
Mr. Chairman, as far as report, we don't have one tonight, but we do have our next meeting on March 23rd, 2026 at 5:30. We do have a resolution tonight, and I'd like to ask that members of the Rutherford County Correctional Work Center that are here this evening come forward at this time. Kim, I think you stand here. This evening, this recognition is for a very special lady here that's been very special to our Rutherford County Correctional Work Center, Ms. Kim Salyer. That has been a very important part of what's going on right there. So I want to read this resolution of recognition to Kim Salyer. Whereas Kim Salyer is the Rutherford County Correctional Work Center coordinator, and Kim began work with the Rutherford County government in September 2001 and has been with the Correctional Work Center since January 2012. And whereas on November the 14th, 2025, Kim received the Program Facilitator of the Year Award at the statewide summit on the correctional program hosted by the Tennessee Corrections Institute. Ms. Salyer received the award due to her high level of professionalism and dedication within her area of programming and the re-entry of community. And whereas the award is a testament to Kim's dedication, professionalism, and unwavering commitment to the rehabilitation and growth of men and women served within the Rutherford County Correctional Center. And whereas Kim's innovative approach and genuine compassion have made a lasting impact in the Rutherford County Correctional Work Center and in the lives of those who participate in the programs. And now therefore be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners at its regular session on the 12th day of March 2026 does hereby recognize and congratulate Kim Salyer on her many achievements and her dedicated service to the Correctional Worker Center and the citizens of Rutherford County. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution recognition be forwarded to Kim Salyer by the clerk of this legislative body, which she just did a few minutes ago. Resolved this 12th day of March 2026. Mr. Chairman, I so move for its approval.
Second. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye. anything you would like to say?
I thank you all so much. Very appreciative, so I
Thank you.
enjoy my job.
Thank you. And just make sure this crowd doesn't show up at your facility.
I've got programs for you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And thank you guys for being here for support.
This is not for me, I don't need it, but Commissioner Johnson, and I'm not going to say which one, needs a 5-minute break. We're in recess. Call the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners back to order, please. Next up on our agenda is item N3, Health and Education Committee, Chairman Phil Dodd.
Thank you, Chairman. I do have a report tonight. It came to my attention last night that the school board had been asked during today's work session to entertain responding to the lack of buses and some open bus routes. The school board did indeed undertake today at a special called meeting at 4:30 p.m. They made a motion to purchase 9 or 10 buses to fulfill special routes. That motion passed 5-2. This particular financial transaction does not require the county commission, the funding body, to approve the transfer of funds. It requires the school board to make a motion and approve. Because the funds are moved within the same line item, within the same category from one line item to another, they're already appropriated, they're not new funds. I will let Michael explain that further. But having spoken to Commissioner P., Commissioner Phillips, and Vice Chair Wilson, this is such an important matter, and the bus routes affect so many of our districts. I felt it appropriate to get in front of this, acknowledge to the community what's transpiring with buses. Without objection, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules and allow Dr. Sullivan just a few minutes to talk about what the board's action is, their thoughts behind it, and perhaps Michael Smith could talk about the funding. So I'm not asking for an amendment, but I do think we need to have some public knowledge shared. So I make a motion to suspend the rules and have Dr. Sullivan speak.
We have a motion and a second to suspend the rules. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Dr. Sullivan.
All right, thank you, Commissioners. So thank you, Chairman Dodd. Just to give you a quick update, I think everyone's aware we had a unfortunate incident happen with insurance that affected a little bit over 40 of our routes. So I want to thank our contractors sincerely who were able to, and our transportation department, who over that weekend were able to work tirelessly and get every kid to school. They were not there on time, understandably. They all got there though, and we are still maneuvering through that. We have, you all know I'm a product of this school system, and so I fully believe in our contractor model, and I have no desire whatsoever to run another department, which is transportation. But we are getting big enough now that we are approaching that to where we're going to have some small part of a hybrid system. We did all calls, which for us, we had 40-something routes, just to give you a quick update. We did all calls for any contractors to pick between those 40 routes. 25 of those were selected during that time. Then we did 2 more all calls for any contractors that were available that wanted to pick up open routes. That left us with 9 routes as of yesterday. 2 more routes were picked up today, but individuals have to go through and get insurance, they have to get financing for buses. Getting buses are tough. If you don't have a bus ordered by March 15th through our local vendor, you will not have one until February of 2027. And so it is a time-sensitive matter. There is another vendor in Wilson County that you can get a little bit quicker. So I did recommend to the board that we go ahead and purchase 9 buses. There are 5 special education buses and 4 4 90-passenger buses that were used from the previous contractor that were back on the lot. They made a motion to add 1 additional one that would be a new one, so we would have 5 general education, 5 special education. The funding from that will come from, this is a line, and I'll let Michael or Brian answer some of this portion of it. There's no new revenue that comes from this. It doesn't require a budget amendment. Within our 72,710, which is transportation, contracts with vehicle owners, we have $33,688,202 budgeted. We removed $1.9 million today in a special called meeting, and we moved it in $1.7 million, and that's not the overall cost. We've had that over into motor vehicles for the coverage of the purchase of those, and then we moved money into bus drivers, money into their benefits, money into gasoline, other supplies and materials to cover that, to get us from this year. By the time we get these routes on the road, you're only looking at 4 or 5 weeks. And so just want to give everybody kind of a summary of where we are. It's not something we plan on getting into the business exponentially. If it wasn't for my bus drivers that were Henry and Deborah Swader, they were 83 and 127 in the Walter Hill area. They took me to the front porch one day that I did not act right, and probably one of the best conversations I ever had with my mom. We'll leave it that way. And into middle school, beginning of high school. And so I've told our contractors, they stepped up hugely, so they undeniably have my support and our board's support, because without them stepping up and taking those routes, we would have been in a world of hurt that next Monday. And they were able to get all of our kids to school, again, admittedly late. And these routes were uncovered. Most of our rural routes, this isn't going to impact. These are in our larger urban areas that nobody picked up these routes. That it's tough because you have so much traffic in these areas that a contractor isn't going to come from a rural area and fight that Nashville traffic every single morning. There's not going to. So that's where we're going to look at doing. The other part, and our board will have to approve a job description. We don't plan on competing with contractors with bus drivers. I'm hoping that we'll be able to pick up some of the bus drivers who have been impacted and don't have a current route to be able to drive. So I'm hoping it'll be a win-win for everybody. So just want to get a kind of an update. And Michael, do you want to address kind of the...
As long as the school board, this did require a budget amendment. It's just a budget amendment that stops at the school board. As long as they're moving money within a major category and not going over the appropriation for that major category that this body has already done, then it stays at the school board level. And so that's why they're just shifting money from contractors to in-house, but it's all within the transportation major category. So no additional funding from the funding body, and it stays at the school board level.
Take a couple of questions. Commissioner Irvin stood.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Commissioner Oliver.
Director, with regard to routes being picked up, did any contractor or does any contractor currently have more than 10 routes?
They do, and they have to have board approval, which is in our policy. We have one that is under 20, but if any contractor picks up more than 10, we put this in policy last year, but anybody that was already currently under contract, excuse me, was grandfathered. And so we had one person pick up a route that had over 10 today, and the board had to specifically approve it. And so they are 17 or 18 buses, I believe, but the board has to look at each one of those individually.
And that's the only contractor that has more than 10?
I believe there's 2 others, but I can have that for you, the Health and Ed, when we're here.
Thank you.
Great question.
Commissioner Irvin.
Do you anticipate a need going forward? You said there's currently no budget adjustments or anything along those lines. What about going forward? What about in the next budget cycle? Have you looked that far ahead?
Yeah.
What do you anticipate?
I hope not, but that'll be up to the board. If the board wants to, we will be open in Poplar Hill Middle School next year. I'll hope that our contractors will be able to cover those. I know there's big insurance questions, and so as long as our contractors can get insurance, then no, we should be perfectly fine to continue with our contractor model. But if contractors struggle to get insurance, then that's going to force the district to get further into the bus business. But that is between contractors and insurance agents.
So you're not anticipating any right now?
I'm not, no, but the board, of course, has their ability to set their budget how they want, and we had our first budget workshop today. If they decide they want to prioritize buses, that is something that was within their ability to do, but based on how difficult it was to get to purchasing 10, I can't envision that, but I don't want to speak for them. I'd be out of place.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yes, Commissioner James.
I'm curious about the reoccurring costs that will come up. The initial purchase, you can move items in-house.
Yep.
But for future budgets, to hire drivers, what's the reoccurring cost potentially going to look like? And sounds like it could potentially grow more than that.
Yeah.
So what they did tonight was not, it did require a budget revision. I want to be clear. This required a budget amendment, but that budget amendment stops at the school board. But they added no new reoccurring cost tonight. They shifted a reoccurring cost from paying a contractor to in-house. So what they did is they also shifted as part of their amendment tonight. They also shifted, and I'm double checking, I'm making sure I'm looking here. They also shifted for supplies and materials for those buses and maintenance for those 10 buses that they bought. So they had $33.6 million budgeted for contractor payments, but when you have empty routes, that money's just gonna sit there. They've shifted that reoccurring cost to a different reoccurring cost. So the goal next year would be, whether they buy a bus in-house or whether they pay a contractor, the goal would be, it's still the same reoccurring cost, it's just two different line items. So they have tonight, as part of their amendment tonight, they did shift money from the contracts with private agencies where they pay the contractors. They shifted that and also covered the future maintenance costs for these buses as well. I believe they put, they also covered the additional fuel cost in their budget amendment as well.
Okay.
And it was also no additional insurance hit to the county this year.
Yeah, and that the insurance leads me to another point. How much of this might be, in essence, manifest destiny? With the contract we went through, not closing the loophole for having more than 10 routes per contractor, the insurance arena that we all went through last year, navigating that and not having them on the student coverage. So how much of this do you think we could have avoided, or do you see us moving forward not finding ourselves in a situation like this again without having to go full bus service?
Yeah. If I had a magic 8-ball, I'd love to be able to foretell it. Again, that's between contractors and their insurance agent. I hope we don't have to go down that. I was talking to one of our former school board members in the hall that was here tonight, and I manage enough departments already. I have no desire to manage a transportation department, because every director I talk to that has a transportation department says it's a nightmare. And so it's really nice right now when somebody calls and says, I have an issue with a bus, and I can say, okay, that's a contracted issue. That's a really nice problem. And I know that's not a great answer sometimes for a parent, but it is a nice problem to have as a director of school. So it's not my desire to go down that route. However, if insurance is an issue, we don't statutorily have to provide transportation, but I think we all know in this community we have to provide transportation. And so that's something we're going to have to adjust somehow.
Mr. Chairman.
Oh, yes. Commissioner Hall.
I don't have a crystal ball, but I can speak on the insurance side. There's only 2 companies in the nation that will cover these school buses under the current way that we have a contractor program. One is you can you can insure a bus for about $6,000 a year. The other one is about $12,000 a year. The one at $6,000 requires you to have previous insurance for 3 years and loss runs the show for 3 years. So if you're a new contractor and wanting to take a bus contract, you got to take the route of this $12,000 to $15,000 route for 3 years before you can fall into this other company that'll offer it to you for 6. So we sent out an RFP mid-year. You guys are in purchasing, and nobody came back with a bid on it. It's out again now. I don't know if it's been picked up, but the history to help you on this, a state legislator filed a bill in Nashville, and it got approved, and it said that counties couldn't provide insurance for contractors anymore. And I think it was something to do with a county in East Tennessee that had an issue with an accident. And once they did it, about 6 months into it, they figured out they had messed up, because it messed up a lot of these contractor programs. So Rutherford County jumped off of it and made them responsible because all of our contractors operate under the county's insurance policy. I see coming forward is when we hit renewal, one or two things are going to happen. We get an RFP and there's an insurance company that says they'll cover it, and it may come back under our envelope, but I would say they're probably going to put a stipulation these contractors are going to have to keep some kind of their own liability on this thing, so they got skin in the game versus no skin in the game. But that's my crystal ball. I think that's what's going to happen. That's all coming up here in June. But hopefully we get something back with RFP with some company out here to bring back some kind of bid for us.
And that's gonna require collaboration between the commission, I know, because that's outside of our hands. So.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes. Commissioner Oliver.
may I ask the Finance Director a question? What makes this amendment different than any other amendment? And don't point at him, I'm talking to you. Because other amendments have to come before the committee in the whole process. So what makes this different?
Because this amendment is within the same major category and does not require any additional funding. And so when you look at their budget, there's a fund level, and so that's their general purpose school fund, the 141. Within that fund, there are major categories. So director of schools is a category, regular instruction is a category, special education, so forth and so on. One of their major categories is transportation. So they can move, the school board, not the director himself, but the school board can move money within that major category as long as they don't exceed that major category or ask for any additional funding. They also cannot move it out of that major category to another one without coming here. But if they just move it within line items between that, in that major category, the school board approves it at the school board level. Now, I do want to add one thing. As soon as they exceed that, we will stop that. I mean, we don't have to worry about that, but if we did, we will stop it at the finance office level. I'll call their director and say, hey, you need to bring a budget amendment before, and that's the so forth and so on. But this one is different because it is just a transfer within that major category.
Thank you.
Commissioner Dodd.
Thank you, Chairman. Commissioner Oliver, this one, I felt it necessary to shed light on this one because of its import and significance and dollar amount and a topic that's affecting all of our districts because it's transportation. Otherwise, this would have passed through the board and we would have never discussed it on the floor or talked about it. So,
Commissioner Dodd and I had that discussion last night and today of it felt prudent to, even though it wasn't required, we developed a great relationship with transparency to go ahead and discuss this in person today.
I'm sure the citizens appreciate that.
And just so that we're all clear, there will be additional revenue that comes into transportation. We have a summer school transportation grant. We will accept all money that comes from the state for transportation. So when you see this later and see why is money coming into transportation, I'm always going to accept state money for transportation. So just want to make sure everybody on the record knows when that comes out as far as summer school, we are taking that money, but it's not connected to this. Okay. Thank you all.
Other questions? We're done. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Chairman Dodd.
our next meeting is Tuesday, March 24th at 5:30 in these chambers.
Thank you. Item N4, Property Management Committee Chairman Alan McAdoo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No report tonight, and our next meeting will be Thursday, March 26th at 5:30 p.m.
Thank you. Item N5, Public Works and Planning Committee Chairman Anthony Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Tonight we have a resolution on the 10-year solid waste plan. It should have been on your, okay, it's in your information on SharePoint. Okay, whereas Rutherford County is a member of the Central Tennessee Solid Waste Planning Region, which includes Rutherford County, Cannon County, Coffee County, and Warren County. It's got region in parentheses. And whereas the region submitted an original municipal solid waste regional plan, it's a 10-year plan, to the Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation in 1994, and whereas in accordance with T.C.A. 68-211-801 ET/SEC, the region is required to submit an annual update to the 10-year plan. And whereas in accordance with Rule 0400-11-01-093D, each county in the region is required to develop a comprehensive, integrative municipal solid waste management plan when modified or updated. Contributes and informs updates to the regional or region's annual update. And whereas pursuant to T.C.A. 68-211-815B15, each plan and revised plan submitted by the municipal solid waste region shall include a certification from the county legislative body of each county in the region that they have reviewed and approved the region's plan and a reviewed plan, and whereas a copy of Rutherford County's annual 10-year plan, update plan, is attached herein as Exhibit A. Now therefore be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners that Rutherford County's annual 10-year plan update attached hereto as Exhibit A shall be and hereby is approved. Resolution resolved this 12th day of March, 2026. I so move.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Y'all rush through it so fast. We trying to read. I do have a question, Mr. Chairman. I know you already took a vote, y'all already passed it, but I just need some clarity on one thing.
You're recognized, Commissioner.
That's fine.
Oliver.
Because this 10-year plan, this is the APR and grant questionnaire, correct?
Pardon me?
This is the APR and grant questionnaire. Is this what you had to submit for your 10-year plan?
No, it's on down through there. It's about 33 pages, and then you'll find the resolution.
Right, I saw the resolution. I'm asking about this questionnaire because the questionnaire asks, what areas would you like to see the Division of Solid Waste Management focus on in the coming years? And the answer was landfill acquisition and development. So I'm just curious about that response to that question.
I'm looking for a solid waste director. I don't know. Yeah, Matt's here. He can answer that. That's his answer you're reading. So.
Without objection, we'll allow Matt Davis to come forward.
Basically, this plan is the same as the one that we do every year. They took last year's and just added our numbers for this year. That's really the only change.
While Matt's coming up, I think Nick could probably clarify something a little bit too.
Commissioner Oliver, so on page, I think it's 33, 34, or 35, that's where the actual 10-year plan document starts in that large length of documents. I'll have to defer to Mr. Davis on your question, but just to let you know, the actual 10-year plan is on down in the document.
Yeah, my intent with that was just that we have to have access to landfill services. You know, we're definitely not talking about expanding any landfill in our four-county region.
Okay, because it says acquisition and development. So that threw me, I now stand, that just threw me off considering the consensus on landfills and we do it at transfer station and all of that. So it just kind of threw me off when I saw that and I just wanted some clarity.
The clarity, in my mind, it's the region, not local. It's the region that says we need access.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
I know we already voted, but I didn't call for opposition, so let's vote again. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion to approve carries. Thank you. Commissioner Johnson.
Okay, secondly, we have a Public Works and Planning Commission report. As most of you know, last Public Works meeting, I was asked to read a letter from Mayor Carr announcing the appointment of Interim Director Matt Davis to permanent position of Director of Solid Waste. That's effective March 1st, 2026. I received this letter March 3rd. That was the day of the meeting. It was effective March 1st, 2 days prior. I received this letter March 3rd at 2:41 p.m. I sent a text to Mayor Carr asking him to please read T.C.A. 5-6-106C. This T.C.A. 5-6-106 was brought to my attention by Commissioner Cush. So that's why I reached out to the mayor. I stated to the mayor, if there's no special or private act to override the T.C.A. 5-6-106C, then we must take the confirmation, take the director appointment and send it back to the commission or committee for confirmation, then on to the commission. I sent this to Mayor Carr March 6th in the a.m. Mayor Carr and I spoke on the phone after I sent that, and Mayor Carr said he would send a reply. So at 11:52, after I'd sent him a letter saying we needed to address this T.C.A., at 11:52, he sent a remark back to me like he told me he would. But he says, he sent a letter to myself and Chairman Phillips stating that he had rediscovered T.C.A. 5-6-106 and as a result made an appointment of Matt Davis on March the 3rd. That was when he brought it to us. He had made that appointment. He stated, we request the county commission take up this confirmation at its earliest opportunity. Up to this point, nothing had been said about a confirmation. No, the mayor did not bring a confirmation to us at our Public Works Committee. That should be the process. So there's an error made. We need to fix that error. So I'm announcing tonight, and it'll be on the Public Works agenda, that we will take up this confirmation April 7th at Public Works. Furthermore, the paper trail shows that Matt Davis was promoted director effective February 23rd, 2026. Remember the previous thing I just read about, it was March 3rd. It's February 23rd, 2026. The fix is bringing it back to Public Works. That's what we're going to do, and Matt will be up for confirmation. So, thank you.
Item 6, Steering Legislative and Governmental Committee, Chairman Craig Harris.
All right, Commissioners, this is a resolution approving the renewal of the county attorney legal service agreement. This was recommended through steering, and I bring before you. Whereas the county previously entered into a legal service agreement for the provision of legal services to Rutherford County, including the appointment of county attorney and the provision of general legal services and litigation services. Whereas attached here, Exhibit A, and incorporated herein by reference as it set forth verbatim is a renewed legal service agreement for the continued provision of legal services to Rutherford County, including the continued service of Nicholas Christian as county attorney and the provision of legal services by Hudson Reed and Christensen. Now therefore be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners that this renewed legal service agreement attached herein, Exhibit A, shall be and hereby is approved, and further, that the appropriate official for and on behalf of Rutherford County be and hereby are authorized to execute said legal service agreement attached to Exhibit A, resolved this 12th day of March 2026. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
I have a motion and a second. Before we get into a vote and discussion, and I know there's probably going to be some, I'm going to take this opportunity to put some things in writing, and I wanted to make sure I didn't leave anything out. So it's kind of a statement to read, and let me clarify that by saying that this commissioner would not have survived the last 3.5 years without the assistance of Nick Christensen. And I know that there are most department heads that feel the exact same way, and I think two of them, sitting on my right and left, would say the exact same thing. But let me kind of go back over the history a little bit. Nick joined the law firm in 2012 and immediately began working on Rutherford County matters. From the beginning, he essentially served in the role of an assistant county attorney, handling research, assisting in litigation, and helping support the county attorney's office. Over the years, he has worked on a wide range of legal issues for the county, including defending the county in matters ranging from general sessions cases to complex civil litigations in federal court, even some cases before the U.S. Supreme Court. When former county attorney Josh McCrary left in 2019, Nick stepped into the role and has served the county attorney since that time. He has now been serving in that capacity for approximately 7 years. During that time, he's dedicated countless hours to county business. That includes regularly attending county commission and committee meetings, as well as meetings of the Planning Commission, the Board of Zoning Appeals, the Highway Commission, and other boards and departments. Much of the legal work done for the county also happens outside of normal hours, and I can testify to that, and I know many of you can as well, including nights and weekends. Nick has also reviewed and drafted a significant number of contracts on behalf of the county. These range from software and service agreements to major capital construction projects and other governmental contracts that require careful legal review. One of the important benefits the county receives in continuing his institutional knowledge, Nick and his firm has worked with the county for many, many years, and several attorneys in his office have decades of experience working on Rutherford County matters. That depth of support provides the county with additional legal resources when needed. Nick has expressed that he genuinely values the professional relationship he's built with the commission, county departments, and staff, and that he remains committed to serving the county effectively and responsibly. Finally, Nick has strong roots in the community. His family has long ties to Murfreesboro. His grandparents owned Cinema Twin and the Blue Raider bookstore. He graduated in the first class of Siegel High School in 2004 and plans to remain in Murfreesboro long term. For all of these reasons, experience, continuing his community ties, and finally, the quality of the work that he's provided, I believe it is appropriate for the commission to renew the contract, the county attorney contract. We pulled a few things, and I think some of these were mentioned, maybe mentioned the other night at budget. Sumner County, as an example, has a budget that approaches $800,000 for their legal services. Murfreesboro has their own legal services department, and their expenses, our budget exceeds $4 million, $4,117,000. Our budget is $334,118. It's the deal of the century. And I would encourage you as commissioners to vote to continue our contract and our relationship with Nick Christensen. Questions and comments?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Commissioner Irvin.
I do appreciate all of your kind words for Nick. And I'll try to keep this briefer than it was at budget the other evening. Okay? To me, there's two threshold issues. Okay? One, notwithstanding all the kind words that 3 or 4 or 5, however many, less than half a dozen I've counted so far, have said, there's really been no formal evaluation of Mr. Christensen's work, best I can tell. What I believe is needed is some input from the users of the legal services. Okay, now there's a list of about 35. If you go to page 2 or 3 towards the bottom, there's a list of about 35 departments. I would be really curious how many of those actually had input into this evaluation or analysis and the continuation of the contract, so-called contract. We don't know. Okay? There's been really no evaluation, as best I can tell, as best I can. And by the way, I've heard from a number of folks, and some are good, some are not so good. That's the other part of the evaluation. I respect what Commissioner Phillips said, what Commissioner Harris has said, but at the same time, we need a more formal evaluation. It's been 8 years. To my knowledge, there hasn't been one.
If I could add, if I could answer that question.
Sure.
If I could. Since you brought that question up at budget, I've approached our HR department, and they do an evaluation before the budget process every year of department heads.
So he's a department head?
Of our department heads or departments before the budget process every year. Our HR department will conduct a similar evaluation of the county attorney's office beginning this year.
So they haven't been doing it, but they're going to do it going forward?
Correct.
Got it. So we're voting on a contract right now. We don't have the results for the evaluation. Fair enough? I'm just making sure.
It has never been done before.
Fair enough. Okay. So, and the other thing we don't have is an evaluation of what the counties need for legal services. Okay, Nick was kind enough to share that the law firm is adding people and all this kind of stuff. That's great. Okay, but I'm not sure, the question about staffing and some other similar areas, in my view, that needs to be asked and answered by the county, not the law firm who is working for the county as an independent contractor. Okay, what we need to know what we need. We need to know what's the best structure. In other words, we need to take a hard look at all of this, candidly. I'll note that many people wanted in-house counsel. I tend to share that view, full disclosure, but I'm going to keep an open mind. I do think we need to go through the process of evaluation to figure out what the county's needs are and what is the best approach. As to the agreement itself, there are some glitches, pretty significant glitches. One is almost at the end. You go to page 5, section 4C. The county agrees to pay the county attorney's liability claims related to the county attorney's representation of the county. Okay, so that says, and just to quote it, just to be sure everybody's on the same page, for all of the above representations, the county shall act in good faith to represent, defend, pay liability claims against the county attorney and associated related to legal representation of the county as set forth above. Now, I've always heard, when I worked at the Attorney General's office, that the states and counties, they're not allowed to do that. Okay? And there's an Attorney General opinion that kind of lays out more than one actually, that lays out all the rules why you can't do that. Okay? So that's a fairly significant glitch. Basically, I took a look at the Attorney General opinion last night, and that's basically not permitted, not allowed. Okay? Serious glitch. All right. And by the way, I don't see how we should do that as a business matter either. Other glitches, including narrowing the standard provision that...
Wayne, can you repeat that last line, that last sentence? I didn't understand you.
Okay. Basically, you're not allowed to pay the county attorney's liability as applied to this case related to the county attorney's representation of the county. And you can check it yourself, look at the contract itself, part that I just read earlier. Is that what you're referring to? Okay. All right. Another glitch, the narrowing of the standard provision, the clients have the right to fire their attorney at any time, with or without cause. Nick's admitted this at this point, and so that's not so much an issue. The key question is damages. The key question is damages, and that's simply not addressed. Okay, and how does this come up? If the county wants to at some point switch from a county attorney model using outside law firms to an in-house model, okay, they decide to terminate Nick for any reason. Questions damages. How do you calculate them? Not covered in this agreement. Not clear in the agreement. There's other glitches that need to be addressed. If we actually get into some kind of negotiation, I know that they're probably okay with dropping one or two of those provisions. But if we get into some kind of negotiation, there are a number of other typos and glitches that would need to be cleaned up in this agreement. So the point here is that there are a number of things to think about. There really are. Okay? Before signing an agreement like this. Okay? And the question in my mind, one of them is, why is there a rush? Why is there a rush? I don't see a need to rush. Maybe there is one. Maybe somebody can articulate it. I don't see it. So, Mr. Chairman, I am going to, has the motion already been made and seconded? No?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to make a motion to defer and send it back to steering. And ask steering within 60 days to do a thorough and complete evaluation of Mr. Christensen's work and to do an assessment of the legal needs of the county and whether the county attorney position should become an in-house position. This also should allow time to clean up glitches. Doesn't have to be stated in the motion per se, but it would allow that amount of time.
Motion to, the proper motion to delay and send back to steering for further consideration.
Yes, a little more specific, but yes, it's as I read.
This is, the motion to approve the contract has been made and seconded. This is an amendment to the contract to send the contract back to steering for further consideration of the things that Commissioner Irvin has stated. We don't have a second.
I second it.
We have a motion and a second to refer the contract back to steering. Questions or comments?
Discussion.
Commissioner Johnson.
Okay, now we're in the discussion. discussion part of this. So I'd like to ask our attorney if he would answer the questions, or if he'd like to answer. He should have that right to do it or not.
I'm happy to address some of those questions the best I can. I will say, on the whole, myself and the firm, we stand behind this contract as proposed. It's been in place for decades. We think it's a good contract. It's worked. I feel like my relationship with each one of you and the constitutional officers and the department heads is a very good one, and I intend to maintain that relationship in good faith. There's one specific item that Commissioner Irvin referenced, and I will give that an explanation, and it was about, however, for all of the above representations, the county shall act in good faith to represent, defend, and pay liability claims against the county attorney and associates related to legal representation of the county as set forth above. There have been numerous cases that I've handled and our firm's handled over the years that involve civil rights and other matters wherein county mayors get sued in their official capacity, the sheriff gets sued in his official capacity, Melissa Harrell, circuit court clerk gets sued in her official capacity, and so on and so forth. And in that regard, I'm no different. You're appointing me as a county attorney. That's pursuant to private act, and there's envisioned in common law and statutory law that makes me a pseudo-official of the county. And there's a lot of times where the government may do certain things that aggrieve certain persons, and I might get involved in that by representing the county and may myself get sued in my capacity as the county attorney. So if that were to happen, I would ask that the other, that sort of representation of me in that lawsuit be afforded to me by the county, just like the county does for any of its other officials. If there's any other questions, Mr. Irvin, I can try to address them.
Yes, I mean, there is a really narrow exception for very narrow pieces, but it's only as statutorily provided. Otherwise, the provision doesn't work. I mean, I can give you an attorney general opinion that and there's several. You've probably seen them. But that, with the exception you're stating, is very narrow. I mean, you're arguably misstating it. Because it's a very narrow exception. Otherwise, so let me ask a question.
What?
So your legal opinion is that the agreement's enforceable in accordance with its terms?
I think on that,
your legal opinion,
yeah,
no exceptions. Just to be clear, that it's enforceable in accordance with
yeah. I think that, as you know, there are provisions in contract law dealing with severability. And so if there was some sort of dispute years from now and this particular provision came up and it was declared null and void by the court, the remainder of the contract would remain in effect, and then I would just have to hire my own lawyer to defend me in a lawsuit after being sued in my official capacity as the county attorney. But I do think that this provision, the intent behind it and how it is worded, frames it in terms of the county defending me if I get sued in my official capacity.
Commissioner James.
I had some questions, just wanted to follow up. I mean, are we sure we want to do a 4-year term? I understand maybe not doing a 1-year term because then you and your firm wouldn't do it. Now, I'm wanting to mention that I have no problem with these great counsel years. I'm looking at this as a foundation for plug any name in role, how to set that up might look best. I just come to grips with the way that part is. So I just want to throw that question out to the air. But I had a couple other spots I wanted to ask. On page 3, section D, the general legal services fee, that portion has, in the second line, states that it's for the county attorney and law firm in the amount of the $150,000. And then you go to section E, and it has county attorney's salary of $130,000. So the way I interpret that, it would lead that we pay your firm $150,000, and they are to pay you up to $130,000 within that, with that 5% increases, and so on. I'm sure that's not what's intended, but that's part of where I kind of think some of the cleaned up to clarify some of that. That's even better deal than Phillips. Half off on that.
I'd have to defer to Mr. Smith. Part of the structural, in totality, the structure of the agreement is the same. There was a rearrangement of how the fees are structured, and that was at the request of the finance director.
Chairman Phillips, if I may.
Just a second, are you done?
This is, have a motion.
You're right.
We need to vote on those.
Well, this is in reference to if the amendment
not how
has
it's
weight to
supposed
send
to
it
be
back for
done.
things or get an answer for him, because he agreed to answer.
Need to follow
I believe I am.
The procedure right now is that the questions should pertain to the amendment to the motion. And I asked Nick, and he said he's willing.
Okay, would it be prudent to send this back for other counsel to give us, back to steering, to give us time because of this scenario?
Is that a motion?
No, that's what
That's
I'm
what the
asking. I'm
amendment
wording the
said.
question so that it works for you. Within the lines of the amendment to find an answer whether or not it's valid to send back or not.
It's a proper motion. If you're asking me personally, it's no, but it's a proper motion, and that's for the commission to decide. We have an amendment to the original motion, and that's what we're voting on, okay? We'll be on the board, commissioners, hold on. I don't know. We had a motion to approve the contract and seconded. Commissioner Irvin made a motion to send the contract back, to amend the motion to send the contract back to steering for further consideration with a whole list of things for them to look at. And then we had a second on that. So we're voting on the amendment to send the contract back to steering. Voting on the amendment, not the motion. All is for this will be on the board. Commissioners, please cast your vote.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the vote.
6 yes, 15 no.
Motion to amend fails. We're back to the original motion. Did you have something now, Commissioner Piercy?
I feel like we need to vote this motion now, and then if it fails, then you can have further discussion. We need to work through our motion. I'll call the question if I need to.
Commissioner Piercy's called the question. I need a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Motion to call the question passes. We have a motion to approve the contract of Nick Christensen and his law firm. For this, commissioners will be on the board. Please cast your vote.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the vote.
17 yes, 3 no, 1 abstain.
Motion passes. Thank you. Congratulations, Nick. Chairman Harris.
Commissioners, this is a resolution that was brought to steering. This is about the ethics policy. We, as a commission and as a steering chairman, falsely accused of breaking state law. But the commissioners want to do this, and I'm going to read this and go from there. Whereas the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners previously adopted a code of ethics applicable to county officials, employees, boards, and committees. Whereas the Board of Commissioners had determined that it is in the best interest of Rutherford County to revise the Code of Ethics to provide for the selection of alternate members of the Ethics Committee and to clarify related provisions by adding the following language. In addition, 2 alternate members shall be appointed to 1-year terms at the same time eternal committees of the County Commission are appointed. Such alternates shall serve on the Ethics Committee only in the event of a regular member is unable to participate due to a conflict of interest, recusal, absence, or other disqualification. Alternates may be selected from among the same categories of individuals eligible to serve as county officials or members of a board, committee. Pulling Anthony Johnson up here. The section of the Constitution of county officers are members of the board, committee, commission, authority, corporation, or other instrumentally governed by this policy may be appointed directly by the county commission to serve as alternate members without the necessity of appointment by the county mayor. At this time, alternates are selected. The county commission may designate one or both alternate positions to be filled by a county commissioner. If such county commissioner to serve as the alternate member for that position, subject to confirmation by the county legislative body. The mayor's appointment to any such designated county commission alternate position may occur following the meeting at which the alternates are designated and shall be submitted to the county legislative body for confirmation at its next regular meeting. Whereas the revised Code of Ethics is attached here to Exhibit A and is incorporated herein, and if copied herein verbatim. Now therefore be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners that the revised Code of Ethics as presented in Exhibit A shall be and hereby is adopted and approved. Resolved this 12th day of March. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
We have a motion and a second. Now we're open for discussion. Chairman Dodd.
Thank you, Chairman. Nick, could you help me understand that this was vetoed?
Yeah.
And was that veto published or presented, or does it stand? Yeah. And what happens with this vote? Is it majority or supermajority?
Sure. Yeah, so following the mayor's veto, the item came back through steering, and steering decided to adopt a brand new policy that was different than the one that was vetoed, that has the language that's before this body tonight. I've consulted with the mayor's office, and the mayor is in agreement with this proposed language, so it was a compromise on the whole issue. And so to answer your direct question, if this motion and the resolution before you on this revised policy were to get adopted right now at this vote, it essentially null and voids out the mayor's veto. In other words, the mayor's veto still stands, but there's nothing for this commission to do on his veto because it's already enacted a policy that supersedes it. Yes, sir.
Chairman Phillips,
Yes. Commissioner Piercy.
I feel like this is probably my fault. It was my recommendation, a common sense recommendation after viewing how the ethics meeting had unfolded in the previous meeting. Something needs to be done. Well, common sense would say, hey, let's put a couple of alternate members on here, relieve this pressure if it needs to be in coming meetings. I didn't care who chose them. It don't make a rat's ass. I'll put it that way. It doesn't matter. For this to be taken and played as a political pawn back and forth, it's pitiful that you can't stand on this commission floor and make a normal, common sense recommendation and it get treated like a ping pong ball at election. Well, that's pitiful. I come in here tonight to try to remove my suggestion, make a motion to just forget it till Christmas. Maybe people will be happier and over the election. But no, Mr. Christensen recommended that maybe what he had worked out would soothe everybody. Well, there's no winner in this. No winner at all. It's not a win-lose game. And I hope this pleases both sides, because I would still make the motion I come in here to make, because it's just a pitiful situation. It's just pitiful. Rutherford County is better than this. It is. We have begun to melt as a commission. I can see it. I've been here 11 years. Some of you have been here 30, 40. You can see it. But I'm going to stand up and tell it. We need to mend this back. There's been tension on this floor tonight that should have never happened. We're all adults, and I think we need to reel it back in and try to be adults and run this county and let the rest of this take care of itself outside those doors. Now, that's all I've got to say about that. And if you don't want to vote his motion that he has worked on through, I'll stand back up and make the motion to forget it. That's all I can do. Thank you.
Other comments? Commissioner Oliver.
Okay, question. The original resolution was unanimous, correct?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Mr. Christensen was here when that resolution was made, correct?
Yes.
If it was illegal, and he's our legal counsel, why weren't we counseled that it was illegal?
Yeah, Ms. Oliver, I've addressed that question to numerous other commissioners who've asked prior to tonight. This was a gray area. It wasn't something that is expressly dictated by law on how alternate members are to be appointed to this particular committee. This committee is not even expressly required by state statute. And so when the mayor's office raised this potential issue, the procedural mechanism with which to get it back before the body was to veto it. And so a lot of times when there's a gray area in the law, the only entity that can determine a decision would be a court of competent jurisdiction. So as opposed to the county mayor's office and the county commission getting embroiled over litigation over something such as this, the better avenue was an understanding that there were reasonable arguments on both sides. The better avenue was to just bring it back before the committee, which we have done, and which I think is the better course, to strike a compromise to ensure that both sides are appeased and that there's no issue whatsoever, even a question of legality.
So are you saying it's not illegal?
It is not expressly unlawful, no. It is a gray area. There is not an answer to this question in common law, case law, statutory law, in the specific context regarding an ethics committee.
So then why were we accused?
That would be a question for the mayor's office.
Who's not here, of course. Okay. I'm just curious because we already had made a decision. And so now the difference between this one and the one that we approved is what? Because I'm looking at it.
Ms. Oliver, I'm happy to take that one as well if you'd like to explain it. So the one before allowed the county commission to designate anybody to be alternates.
Right.
And the question arose of whether the commission could appoint its own commissioners as alternates. So what this does is it allows the county commission to still appoint alternate members who are not county commissioners and to do so without the mayor's involvement. But if the county commission decides it wants to designate one or both of these alternate spots to be county commissioners, then we have to allow the mayor to make a selection of one of you, which is still subject to confirmation of this body. That's the difference, and that's what would be voted on tonight.
Other questions or comments? Ready to vote? Yes. Commissioner Piercy. Commissioner Piercy.
When it comes down to have broken the law, I asked Chairman Harris to take it to steering because I figured that's where it would have to start from. That's what Chairman Harris done. They voted it unanimously. It come back around to commission. It was voted through unanimously. Everybody here shares the same equal amount of breaking that law. it wasn't Chairman Harris's fault. He performed the duty he was asked to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Just a point, a point of clarification. One of your comments was breaking the law, and I'll comment that that was not the case. This commission did not break the law.
Thank you.
Okay.
Maybe we were just accused of being in violation. Is that better?
Point well taken.
With a press release.
Right.
Point well taken. Ready to vote? This is the updated ethics policy that was recommended through steering. Commissioners, we will be on the board for this, so please cast your vote.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the vote.
19 yes, 1 no, 1 abstain.
Motion passes.
Our next meeting will be April 6th, and I'd like to also announce that this is the longest I've ever stood up here. So hopefully that I won't break that anymore. So thank you.
Thank you. Whew. Item 7, other business. Item 7A, as Nick mentioned a minute ago, is removed. It's a non-issue. The vote that we just took makes it a non-issue, so it's removed, and we won't be making any decisions on any veto. Item B, discussion regarding application of T.C.A. 5-6-106C to and appointment of the solid waste director. And there was an invitation for the county mayor to come and make comments on some misunderstandings that appeared as it related to how that T.C.A. was applied. And I'm not sure that I see the mayor here, and I'm not exactly how to proceed with this. I know there's been some talk of where we go from here, and this whole application over the last couple of weeks has made me much more aware of the need that I have for his counsel. So over the last couple of days, I've prepared a memo or a bullet list of the whole process of the solid waste director's appointment. And I don't know if it's appropriate or not. I really don't. But since it's on our agenda, I can go through that bullet list if you guys want to, and then from there, we'll make a decision as to whether we do anything or make any other comments. That bullet list is also on your iPad under other business. So I know there's a lot of questions about moving on, and it's my desire to move on. I have no desire to continue this type of a relationship. But as a commissioner and as your chairman, it appears that every week there's something that comes up that acquires my attention and your attention as well that's unproductive as it relates to the business of Rutherford County, and I want it to come to an end. So without objection, if you'll pull up your pull up on your iPad under other business. I'll run through this real quick and let you know where we are and kind of how we got there. And this is let me just kind of start off by saying, I see Matt Davis still sitting back here, and I haven't talked to one person, not one person, whether it's a commissioner or anyone else, that has an objection to Matt Davis being promoted. As a matter of fact, everyone is in favor of that promotion. So this whole situation is not about Matt Davis. It's about the process and adhering to law. So let me kind of go through this, unless there's someone that objects. Notes surrounding the Mayor Carr appointment promotion of Matt Davis to the Solid Waste Director position effective 3/1/26. On or about the week of February 9th, Mayor Carr told Public Works Chairman Anthony Johnson in a telephone conversation that he was considering the promotion of Matt to the director's job, but asked Anthony to keep it to himself because he did not want to embarrass Matt if he changed his mind later. Started back in early February. On February the 19th, Mayor Carr met with Matt Davis, Eric Hennessy, Sonia Stevenson concerning the open solid waste director's position. Mayor Carr offered the job to Matt Davis effective 2/23 at $116,402 annually. Matt accepted that and left that meeting. Mayor Carr asked Mrs. Stevenson, our HR director, to prepare the official letter and process the necessary paperwork, including his new salary effective 2/23. Several weeks prior to this meeting, on or about February the 11th, during a meeting between Mayor Carr, Eric Hennessy, and Sonia, Mayor Carr told Sonia that he was thinking about giving the director's position to Matt and that he believed Matt would be a good fit. The two discussed what the pay would be and other things. Because a Public Works meeting was coming up, Sonia, Ms. Stevenson, asked about the process and informed the mayor that he needed to go through the committee process and the commission process to get Matt confirmed. Mayor Carr told Sonia that he did not need commission confirmation because the solid waste director reported to him. On the 3rd of March, Mayor Carr emailed Phillips and Johnson, Stevenson and Michael Smith, and Eric Hennessy announcing Matt Davis's promotion effective 3/1. Sonia had to redo the necessary documentation, changing the effective promotion date from 2/23 to 3/1. However, she did not process it because Matt had to be confirmed by the county commission. Sonia then called the finance department to resend the processing of the increased pay and promotional date for the director. Mayor Carr then asked Anthony Johnson to announce the promotion at Public Works that night. While Chairman Johnson was reading the memo from Mayor Carr, I sent a text to Nick Christensen asking whether or not, asking the question, doesn't that need to be confirmed before it's approved through the county commission? Nick didn't respond that night, but he did the next morning and confirmed that that position did have to be confirmed through the appropriate committee and then the commission. Nick went ahead and did additional research to find out whether any private act or local resolution applied to the appointment and found none. Therefore, T.C.A. 5-6-106C applied. On Thursday, 3/5, several commissioners called me and others asking questions about the promotion without confirmation and suggested that Mayor Carr was ignoring the exact same law that he used to veto a resolution the prior week. Mayor Carr told Anthony that the announcement at Public Works was meant to serve as the confirmation. Phillips, that's me, believes that this is incorrect because of the mayor's statement to Sonia Stevenson on or about 2/11 that he did not need commission confirmation because the solid waste director reported directly to him. Phillips also believes this is incorrect because the finance department had received the offer letter for the position and the personnel action form with an effective date of February 23rd. On Friday, March the 6th, your chairman, Phillips, sent a letter to Mayor Carr explaining the commission's position and asking him to appear at this meeting to explain his position. That same day, Mayor Carr sent a memo to myself and Anthony Johnson stating that as a result to his prior veto, he had rediscovered T.C.A. 56-106C and asked that the commission take up the promotion of Matt Davis at its earliest opportunity. The next day, on 3/7, Mayor Carr responded to the 3/6 letter stating that the confirmation is a two-step process. The mayor appoints, which he stated he had done, and the second, the commission confirms, which we had not done. Mayor Carr questioned my interpretation of T.C.A. code and stated that he did not think it would be a good idea to attend this commission meeting tonight due to what he described as a hyper-partisan nature of some of the members of this county commission. That's where we are, and that's what happened. And the reason that we're here is simply because it appears that the promotion of Matt Davis was not handled properly, and the explanation that came out of the mayor's office was not accurate. And I don't know how else to put it. So that's where we are, and there's several options, and I'm not going to go through what they are. You probably know what they are. But one option is to, as I think as Commissioner Piercy was alluding to a minute ago, document this conversation, add this memo to the minutes of the meeting, and move on. Other options would be something that you guys would need to suggest or come up with. So if we do nothing, that's what will happen. If you have any questions or comments, I don't know that I can answer them, but I'll give it a shot.
Mr. Chairman, so just a clarification.
Commissioner Harris, would you rise?
Yes, sir. So just a clarification. Did Mayor Carr break state law? Yes or no?
Is that a question for me? Yes.
It might be a question for me, but I ain't answering it, Nick.
It appears based on the facts as stated by Chairman Phillips, the process did not follow state law. It did not follow state law.
Point of clarity, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner James.
Is Matt Davis still acting interim director and not Director of the Solid Waste Department.
Nothing has changed.
So although maybe, as Nick says, didn't follow state law as far as the way he tried to confirm and promote him, the checks and balances, that is this body of confirmation, actually followed through and is waiting our confirmation before he can take that seat. Is my understanding of that correct?
As Chairman Johnson stated a little bit earlier, in the month of April, Matt will go through the confirmation process through Public Works and then forward it on to full commission. I do not anticipate any glitches in that confirmation. So we'll handle it according to procedure. Anything else? Without objection, this conversation will be added to the minutes of our meeting and will be part of the permanent record and documentation. Shout outs. Anybody have anything they want to shout out?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to take the opportunity to shout out a new local establishment for providing us our dinner this evening, Waldo's Chicken and Beer. No beer was provided, so let me state that. Just the chicken and some macaroni and cheese and stuff like that. So we appreciate them providing our dinner for tonight. So if you check them out, they're in District 19 on Veterans Parkway and Highway 96. So we want to tell them a big thank you for what they provided to us tonight. And then also, I just want to take the time to personally tell and say thank you to our law enforcement who stands here every single meeting that we have. So I want to say I thank you guys for doing what you do. So thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Other shout outs. Commissioner Johnson.
I'd just like to thank my wife for putting up with this problem since, well, most of last week and all through the weekend. Every time we had some quiet time, it was interrupted by a text, call, but she hung in there with me, and that's what she's done. But this has been the hardest past week of my whole 21 years up here. And it was hard on my wife. And I really appreciate her for hanging in there and supporting me.
Just tell her we love her too, Anthony. Commissioner P.
My shoulders are kind of sore from pounding post here lately, so y'all probably know that feeling too. But as I was out pounding some post, run into a gentleman that had a bit of a problem. Somebody dumped a bathtub, a kitchen sink, and pretty much everything else on his property, on the main highway. I looked at it and he said, I don't know who did this, but it's not me, because I saw it. I was fixing to say something to it about it, man, you need to clean this up. And he said, well, right across the street, which was another road, he said it's even worse. So I took a drive over there, which wasn't but about 200 yards up the street, across the road, and there were mattresses and sofas and assorted amount of garbage enough to fill up the corner of this courtroom over there. So I made a call to Lieutenant, I believe it's Perez. He was here tonight. Peralta, excuse me. And he had somebody come out and look. I warned him. I said, man, this is a big mess. This is not a little mess. And it was a big mess. But by the next evening, every bit of that's cleaned up and gone. I just want to say those guys, I know they've been talking to other commissioners because I've seen the email where he's asked if there's problems, just so the public knows. Some of you that are doing that kind of stuff are going to be caught because we have trail cameras out. We have caught people and people have been prosecuted. So I would advise you to take that stuff and dispose of it properly. We have a huge problem with trash, but I just want to make a shout out to Director Cope and his people for doing such a good job of responding to that kind of problem.
Thank you. Anything else? See this gentleman here? He's young enough to be single, but he's also old enough to get engaged, which he did over the weekend. And he's keeping it in-house. His fiance is our highway department manager's daughter. Congratulations, Jack. I probably didn't say this. I can't remember whether I did or not, but the memo that I read that's on your iPad is a result of my investigation, and I believe it to be accurate, but I do not say that it is an absolute fact in every sense of the word, but it is a result and comments on the investigation process that I went through over the last few days. Thank you for your patience, your attendance. We are adjourned.